Welcome back to the Style Esports broadcast. We are at Saturday night, I think. Saturday night, days kind of blend together through quarantine, but you know what? Saturday night, final answer. I'm locking it in. My name is Baymax. I am going to be your play-by-play caster tonight in this best of 3 series with Coin Flippers versus the New England Stormwolves in the Shurima group. My color caster this evening is a glorious, glorious man by the name of Axeman87. How is it going tonight, Axeman?
Doing just fine, Baymax. Yep, Axeman87 here, and like you said, Saturday night's all right for fighting, and it is going to be a fight here tonight. We got the New England Stormwolves as well as Season 2 champions, Coin Flippers, so this should be a real shootout here. I believe both teams are undefeated thus far. Could be wrong about that. Let me do the math. No, yeah, they are both undefeated. New England Stormwolves actually haven't lost a game yet, so they won all their series, won all the games as well. 2-0'd everybody they've gone up against thus far, and I know Coin Flippers just beat, Chronicle Twist, yeah, earlier today, so they're also undefeated too. So Clash of the Titans here for the Shurima group, our top group, so this should be a good series.
Yeah, and that game that Coin Flippers played a little bit earlier this evening was actually, I think, their first series of the season for Style Esports. And you mentioned that they are the returning champions from last season, which is true. But you know, if there were any questions about whether this team would be a competitive team, they were valid questions up until tonight. The 2-1 victory over Chronicle Twist definitely proves that Coin Flippers are here. They are ready to be a contentious team to vie for that first place spot. So we'll see if they can do it, right? See if they can take down the Stormwolves. You mentioned it, Stormwolves currently undefeated. They are tearing through Shurima. They are on a 3-win streak right now. They're looking to make it 4. They've played, I think, the most games out of any team in Shurima so far. And not only that, but they, like you said, are undefeated. They have won everything. So we are about to move into what should be a pretty big behemoth of a game between two of the top dogs in not only the Shurima group, but all of Style Esports as of this moment right now. I am super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Stormwolves kind of tearing through the Shurima group, but viewers at home may have noticed both these teams tearing through this draft. This draft was pro-drafted, so they're just picking all the things that they had already picked in that pro draft, so we got through it pretty quick. But let's take a look at this draft. They got through it fairly quickly, so we didn't have a lot of time to talk about things as they were coming up. But a lot of your classic bands. I mean, you got your Graves band coming out, Cassiopeia, which is just a good comp band. Olaf, Yumi as well, just very strong champions. The only one that kind of sticks out to me right now is Silas, which is a very powerful champion. It sticks out to me too because I'm not sure anybody on the Coin Flippers has a lot of games on Silas, so it kind of strikes me as a strange one. I think the Silas band might have just been trying to take it away from Yoshi Miner. Maybe it's a counter to Azir. I'm not really 100% on that one. Yeah, I think that's really the only band that really sticks out. Maybe Shen as well, but Shen just another strong comp champion too, right?
So looking at these two team comps right now, because like you said, was pro drafted, we breezed through draft about as quickly as would be possible here. What are you thinking about these teams? What are you thinking looking at these teams?
Okay, so like the biggest thing I would say is that both of these ADCs are kind of bizarre. I mean, these aren't like bad ADCs by any stretch of the imagination, but they're a little strange for comp. These are kind of very hard and fast ADCs that do opposite things on different sides of the spectrum. Obviously, Draven, very heavy into the early game, wants to snowball and end the game, preferably before like 30 minutes, I would say. Vayne, meanwhile, just kind of the direct opposite. You want to just kind of outscale everybody. And these really are the two marksmen that are on the extreme ends of that scale. I don't think there's a better early game marksman than Draven, just by nature of like being strong early game. I don't think there's a better late game marksman than Vayne. So that's what sticks out to me initially, is just being very strange and very different from a lot of the series we normally see. I know what doesn't stick out to me is the Ornn Maokai matchup, which is something we see way too much of.
I'm not gonna lie to you, X-Man. I am getting a little sick of the tanky champions top lane. Top lane, it feels like we've been in a bit of a tank meta for a while, especially with, like you mentioned, the Ornn, the Maokai. These are champions that come up time and time and time again, and for good reason. Auron has been a competitive monster basically since his release because his ultimate is insane. The amount of gold value that he provides passively to his team is insane. The scaling from the Auron upgraded items, the lane sustain, the fact that he's a safe pick that is reliable and not really counterable in lane. All these things make Auron very, very strong. But Maokai is similar in a lot of ways. He's a great throwaway pick. Just top lane, put your Maokai up there. He'll be fine. He doesn't lose hardly any matchups. He'll be a big, beefy boy later that can frontline for the rest of your team. One concern I am seeing here for the Stormwolves is, you talked about the Vayne pick. Definitely weak early on. But if Hildas gets ahead early, Vayne tears through all of New England Stormwolves' frontline. Braum, Trundle, Maokai, these guys are gonna melt in front of an 80 carry that just thrives against big beefy tanks. Champions that build tons of HP, tons of magic resist, tons of armor. Vayne just eats that for breakfast. So, I think New England Stormwolves they definitely want to play aggressive bot lane. They want to get this Draven ahead, but you gotta be careful because you can't throw it the other way. You can't get too aggressive. You can't afford to be giving away kills to Hildas.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are already in the loading screen here. Feels like that pro draft really sped things up. That was a very short amount of time. But you asked what else I'm kind of noticing about the two teams. We got mages in the mid lane. I feel like that's something that isn't as popular anymore. I mean, I feel like if you're going to have a mage, normally you have something else to go up against it. It's a little strange that we had this auto attack mage in a 0 up against Malzahar, who's just like incredibly strong in the early game. It's difficult for me to imagine that Stevenator is going to have a good game with this matchup, but obviously the New England Stormwolves know what they're doing. They are completely undefeated despite playing lots of games in this group so far. So,
I think that could actually be a good matchup for the Azir. I'm thinking about it. Normally like Azir can get bullied early, but one thing Azir has is he's got very, very mana efficient wave clear if he's just pulling his soldiers out of the ground and hitting the wave with them, which, is something that he's probably going to be able to do because Malzahar is not that great at poking the enemy laner early. He can shove, and he can shove really, really hard. But Stevenator is probably not going to have to worry too much about being harassed. He just has to match the shove, and I think that's probably something Azir can do pretty well, but we'll see. I'm a little biased because I just hate Azir. I think he's way too strong all the time. He's one of those champions that I just despise laying against with every fiber of my being. So, Stevenator, if he doesn't pop off, I'm probably going to call him bad, but it's just how I am.
Yeah, and Azir, and we also seen Corki, probably some of the most popular blind picks for the mid lane. I don't want to say it's super safe because, like you mentioned, not Stevenator, but Azir can have problems in the early game. It's possible to shut an Azir down the early game, but it's difficult to stop them from scaling, right? Because it's a bit like a marksman. You just put one in a side lane, and after 5-10 minutes, they've caught up with basically any lead. As long as they've been unobstructed and everything. So it's a super safe blind pick, and that's really one of the bigger reasons we see it so often, is that it's, like you mentioned, very, very strong, but also difficult to counter too. So I think that's probably what we're seeing from Stevenator right now is just a safe pick here for game one. But I believe in Yoshi Minor. I think they can pull a win out of this lane. And, it's just a couple of conditions, you're right, that they have to meet before they can really start to dominate the Azir, who does have some escape tools, also is a little bit more difficult to get on top of with the ultimate. So maybe this could go the way of Stevenator for sure.
I think the big thing to keep in mind when talking about a Malzahar pick is the 2v2, right? Because Malzahar...
Yeah.
It's all about that ultimate. It's all about that nether grasp. You got to have a jungler that can kill the other guy when you've got him suppressed for 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, right? And that is, I think, the key for coin flippers around the top half of the map. Their mid jungle is pretty crazy. Yoshi Minor is going to set up with that ultimate so well for Recycle Bin. Nether grasp into an Elise Cocoon, and then you're just left with Stevenator or honestly anybody else who's probably just dead at that point. So that's what coin flippers are going to be trying to do. I think that they need to play around their ultimate, or specifically the Nether Grasp, the Malzahar ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're correct on that one. Talking about different matchups, though, as predicted, The Draven is just kind of shoving in the bot lane for the coin flippers and pretty much dominating this lane so far. Got about a
Ooh.
10 CS lead. Oh, this could be the gank.
Stevenator, yeah, Stevenator ganked mid lane, running down to Uber, who was there to pick up that scuttle crab. I think Uber might look for the re-engage here. Pillar onto Recycle Bin to slow him down in his tracks, but getting a lot of damage traded back. Sand Soldier is not quite doing enough to keep Uber and Stevenator in this fight. Looks like not too much going down. Scuttle Crab's going to be traded away here.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we will be looking forward to the next gank coming through from Recycle Bin, but nothing in the near future. Got that dragon coming up in about a minute, so we'll be looking forward to that one as well. No one really has any kind of vision control over the area at present time. There's that Scuttle Crab. I believe it will despawn before the dragon comes up, though, so that won't be there. And yeah, they no real vision control at this point. We're looking at bot lane right now, and the level 3 down there, so things just kind of going pretty slow here in their early game, which is what you like to see, right? Two teams just kind of feeling things out, making sure they're not giving away too many early leads. And it really is important for some of these champions to either not give up too much in their early game or to do very well in their early game. So you don't want to be giving away too much right now.
Yeah, neither team really have great tools to make things happen early. Elise is a strong early game jungler, but she doesn't really have Recyclement doesn't really have great laners to facilitate that until level 6 on Charismatic, on Yoshi Miner, maybe Kabi as well. And you know, looking towards New England Stormwolves with Uber and with Stevenator and Tony, I'll hold that thought. Bot lane at Dazzle gonna double stun, keep ass, and oh my god, Cabby, you don't want that. Engage. Hilda's dying straight away. First blood going over to Handholder, which is not necessarily who you wanted on, but still, Draven spinning axe is doing so much damage bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if I were to predict first blood, that would make sense to me as the Draven onto the Vayne. And yeah, that definitely comes through in a big way. Hilda is going to be walking back from the fountain now. So yeah, rough. Already down a kill, but before that, still down about over 10 CS now. Recycle Bin standing on a ward. Could get this back upset by Handholder.
Oh, definitely.
Probably
Handholder, don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. Oh, bot lane Dazzle not going to miss a condemn. Actually, Hilda's, I don't think you want to use that condemn. Nice go to the Handholder. He is going to be pilled up and stalled for quite some time. Repel, forcing the flash from Keep. He's going to stay alive. Ignite not taking him quite low enough. Now teleports coming in from both Stevenator and from Charismatic. Ornhorn is available. Is he going to use it? Doesn't even have enough time. The Sand Soldiers from Stevenator doing so much damage, picking him up a kill onto Kabi. Here comes the Ornhorn. Suppression down. Let their grasp onto Tony. He is out of here. Uber is next in their sights, but Charismatic, he's going to go down to a Sand Soldier. Recyclement taking so much damage as well. Handholder is too tanky. The Unbreakable buying all of Stormwolf so much time. A double kill for Stevenator. Nice Emperor's Divide. Hild forced to flash over the wall. Yoshi does not have his flash. He has it. He's going to use it. I take it back. Gonna just barely get out of there alive. Not quite. Flash not going to be enough on that one. 4 kills. 4 for Stevenator.
Yeah, that was a massive fight, right? Blew this game wide open. 2K gold lead now in the hands of the New England Stormwolves. So, you know, with that fight, they've really established themselves as being ahead in this game, very much dominating the map. Dragon has spawned, so that's up. I don't think the Stormwolves can go for it just yet. Obviously, if you see their bot line right now, not a whole lot by the way of resources going on at the moment, so they might have to get a reset in before they look for that objective. We see Uber Alice just kind of clearing the top side of the jungle, maybe in preparation for a dragon play here in just a little bit. They also had the Rift Herald coming up in 45 seconds as well as another objective they could be looking to take here. Both junglers fairly even after that fight, going fairly even in that fight. So nothing too much by the way of a lead in that role, but you know, the mid lane, obviously things are starting to look real rough despite what was previously said about you know, the matchup.
It's hard to come back from 4 kills 6 minutes in. That's a tough one. I feel bad. I mean, Stevenator hasn't recalled yet, and you talked about the dragon. Once Stevenator recalls, he's going to come back. How much gold is he? He's sitting on 2,100 gold. He's going to have his Nashor's Tooth finished, or whatever he's rushing first. I think Nashor's Tooth, because he's got those daggers. He's going to have first item completed, like 8 minutes in. If that doesn't guarantee Stormwolves Dragon, I don't know what will, right? They have bot lane pressure. They're going to have mid lane pressure. But for now, Steven Nader actually hasn't reset yet. He's still sitting on his teleport, doesn't have flash. Recycle been looking for a gank. Streamer Shuffle gonna make sure Steve Nader is safe though, holding on to those shifting sands. Bot lane, looking towards the bot side. A nice flash from Uber securing the auto attack that's gonna pick up a kill for Keep, and now another kill going over to the New England Stormwolves bot lane. They don't even need Steve Nader, they're just killing it by themselves.
Yeah, Hildas goes down again here. Things going from bad to worse for the Vayne. It's going to be a long time before they can get to scaling here. And yeah, New England, in kind of an eerie fashion, is already so far ahead. 3K gold now, where before it was 2K. And they'll be looking for this dragon, this mountain dragon. Probably not one of the most impactful dragons early. You know, I think if their team were to get it, it's probably a little more impactful for them than it would be for the coin flippers. So that's not great if you're a coin flippers fan. Obviously, you're getting resistances onto Maokai, Trundle, Braum as well. So those are already some pretty tanky champions that are going to be much tankier. After picking up that Mountain Dragon, next dragon's going to be Infernal in a little under 5 minutes, of course. And yeah, that's leaves us with a Cloud Soul or Ocean Soul and map to go with it. We'll see which one we get in just a little bit here. Uber Alice is looking to pick up this Rift Herald, so that will really, yeah, they'll have all the epic monsters that have spawned if they pick this one up.
Bot lane, Glacial Fissure. Kabi doesn't have his Cosmic Radiance, so you might see an all-in attempt there. Sorry to interrupt you, cut you short on that one. I think
no, you're good. I feel like they might still be going for a dive here almost, because Hilda goes
hard
down
without
real
the Glacial
quick.
Fissure, but Hilda's looking for it. Popped the final hour, tumbles forward. Gonna be fine. Unbreakable from Handholder, keeping everybody alive. Now switching back to the Herald. Gonna be an Ornhorn popped out from Charismatic. Uber is way too far forward. You got the Herald, but at what cost? Did he get the Herald actually? Was it stolen? He did get it.
He did get it, yeah.
I looked,
Yeah, so...
I didn't see it because he was dead. It was on cooldown. I thought he might have lost it, but he got it. He got it.
Yeah, so they do have the Rift Herald. He loses his life in the process. One of the small amount of victories here that the coin flippers have garnered for themselves, despite their best efforts, and they're able to get Uber Alice down. I don't think it's probably worth for them, but at this point, I think you just take those if you're the coin flippers. Take those little victories.
I don't know. I think the coin flippers are in a really rough spot right now because we talked about it already. Hilda's needs to be the primary carry for this team. Where else is the damage going to come from? Especially with the front line from New England Stormwolves being ahead. You know, a Maokai, a Trundle, a Braum. Who is going to kill these tanks out of an Elise, a Malzahar, a Taric, and an Ornn? It's got to be Hilda's on the Vayne. And he is behind. Now mid lane, a flash from Recycle Bin. There's another grasp. We talked about it. There it is. Steven Nader. He's got no way out. Emperor's Divide was good, but not good enough. He is going to go down. A big shutdown kill going over to Yoshi Miner.
Yeah, so they do expend the cooldown, like you mentioned. Emperor's Divide on that one. I'm not 100% that would have saved them in any case. I think you just hold on to that cooldown. Notably, though, he also hung on to Flash there. So used Emperor's Divide, but then didn't Flash. So I feel like if you're going to use one, you might as well use the other and see if you can get out of that situation. But yeah, they don't have ult at this point. They did hold on to Flash. They're going to have teleport up in a couple seconds. So might be looking just to walk back to lane as of now, but that cooldown is coming up.
Oh, nice flash. Dazzle bot lane. Kabi looking for Keep. He's got a flash and heal. Uses both, or uses flash to keep himself alive. That's a big Glacial Fissure from Handholder, just buying time. I think he got a 2 or maybe a 3-man knockup to keep his AD carry alive. 1-0. Good gank from Hilda, or good gank from Recycle Bin, but Keep stays alive on the Draven.
Yeah, and Keep, I think, obviously you want more of the gold onto your marksman, so it's good that they get the kill onto Handholder. I'm not really sure. I don't think they got shutdown gold for that kill, so didn't help them too much, but they do get a little bit more gold onto Vayne, which is where the coin flippers desperately need it. You already mentioned that's where they need the gold, because that's where all their damage is. Uber Alice might be looking for a gank in the bot lane. No, going to disengage from that. Now Recycle Bin making a return to the bot lane, kind of hammering home that Hilda really is their win condition here. So we're probably going to see the gank in just a little bit.
I thought he was going to face check that. That was so close. He still might. So
yeah, I think he will.
Forward. Recycle Bin throwing out the cocoon. A nice stun. Handler taking some damage, but not a ton. And right now, Kabi and Hilda pretty far away. Condemned to the wall is going to be there. No flash on Handholder, remember. He does still have it, but he doesn't use it in time. Going to burn down to the skirmishing smite. Teleport coming through from Tony, but he is too little, too late. He's not going to get anything done. Nature's Grasp, a wasted cooldown. Another kill going over to Coin Flippers.
Yeah,
oh, mid lane. I didn't see this happening mid lane. I'm sorry. I didn't even see what's going on. Flash, another grasp onto Stevenator. He's locked down for so long. Ornhorn is going to make him get knocked up. He's dead. The Flash not getting him out of that one. Now Uber is the next in Charismatic Sights. A double kill for the Forge God. A nice roam down from Charismatic. Now in the river, Recycle Bin. He's found out Tony.
Way.
Tony's recalling on a ward. Repel. Tony gonna flash out, try to get himself away, but the Searing Charge from Charismatic putting an end to that. Now Handholder, he was there to try to help out his friend, but he's just donating a Grasp proc over to Charismatic instead, and Keep might be finding himself in trouble here, but it looks like, he's good. He's good, but Dragon spawning soon.
Yeah, and Baymax, these are the kind of comeback plays I would have expected at 20, 25, 30 minutes from a late game team with an Ornn and a Vayne on it. We just saw him at like 13 minutes, which is kind of blowing my mind right now because this team should not be hitting the kind of power spikes. In fact, they actually didn't hit any power spikes. It's not like Vayne has an item or anything like that. They just suddenly started outplaying the Stormwolves all across the map in every single situation. That was nuts. And yeah, here we go. The Coin Flippers pick up their first dragon as well. All of a sudden, the gold lead is, exactly even. There is no gold lead. Both teams exactly even on that one. This has been one heck of a comeback for a team that I think most people would describe as very late game.
Well, still, all credit to Recycle Bin on that, right? These cocoons have been landing. He has really been using Elise to a really... He has been taking... He has been utilizing Elise's early game potential in a very, very strong way. He has been making all kinds of plays for the last few minutes across the map, landing cocoon after cocoon. He's been forcing engages, forcing fights, flashing almost on cooldown to find these picks, and he has been doing wonders for Coin Flippers. But still, a concern I have is that Hilda and Yoshi are not really benefiting all that much from this. Gold relatively even, and looking at the gold gap bot lane, I mean, Hilda is still pretty starved for gold. Not got a ton of items yet, not got a ton of CS yet on this Vayne. And I do still think that that's going to be the primary late game win condition for Coin Flippers. They've got to get Hilda to a point where he's got enough items, because sooner or later, Elise gonna fall off. You got to have somebody that can pick up the slack when that happens.
Yeah, and in defense of them, I guess, while they are very behind their lane opponents, it is literally Draven. I mean, this could not be more juxtaposed in terms of when these champions are hitting power spikes. I would expect Draven to normally be pretty far ahead of Vayne at this stage of the game. So I don't know if it would be this far ahead, but I definitely don't think this is like an insurmountable difference. What's concerning? Oh, here we go.
This is going to be insurmountable in the bot lane. Cosmic Radiance keeping Hilda alive. Handholder dropping a little bit low from the Silver Bolts. Ignite procced, but Kabi, he's going to have to run away from this one. Keep is not done yet. The Spinning Axe is doing quite a bit of damage. Bloodthirster has been finished for this Draven. New England Stormwolves bot lane looking to get aggressive with Uber roaming down as well. This could be Turret going down bot lane, and a nice pillar into Kabi. He's caught out. Spinning, whirling death, picking up a kill for Keep. Next one going down to a Spinning Axe. Huber picking up that one. Now it's Charismatic. I don't know if you wanted to teleport into this one. Gonna have to use the Searing Charge to get away. Yoshi Miner has run down with another grasp available. Is he gonna have the damage coming through? The damage is gonna be there, but at what cost? Stevenator picking up another kill on the side. Forced to pop the QSS to get out of that cocoon. Is kiting backwards. Handholder's so very low. Uber running away as well. Turret is gonna fall. Charismatic and Recycle been on the chase, but they are probably not gonna get anything. Uber is very, very, very speedy. Tony might have hung around a little bit too long, but he is very tanky in the Maokai. Turret went down. I think that was a 2 for 2, maybe 2 for 3. I hope you know. I hope you
something
know.
Like that. I don't think they actually did. Did anybody die in that one? I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah.
Hilda and Cabby definitely did.
Yoshi died.
Yeah, Yoshi went down too.
Yoshi died. I think Keep and Handholder both died too. No, Handholder died. No, he didn't. Keep died. Keep died. Yoshi, I don't know. There were deaths. Deaths happened. It happened. Yeah. By the way, in the chat, I want to give credit. We got a subscription coming through from Demonic Xmas. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. We really do. And also, Heart Fractures and Mega Bro. We see you guys in chat too. I promise we read. I promise we see what's going on. We love all of our chatters, especially the chatters who are the most active. So thank you so much for that. We see you guys here often. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. Cannot stress that enough. Thank you so much. Now looking toward this Herald. Sorry, X-Man. It looks like we might see a fight happen. So I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep prepping for that. Cocoon did come out from Recycle Bin, but didn't quite land. Both teams squabbling over Vision right now. Looks like Cocoon had the handhold. I don't know if that's who you want to hit. Taking some damage. Unbreakable, got to keep him healthy. Scuttle Crab is in contention now. A smite from Recycle Bin, gonna take that one away. So Vision control temporarily going over to Coin Flippers, but control of the area going over to New England Stormwolves as they fight for this mid lane pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a 3-for-1 in favor of the New England Stormwolves. They got Yoshi Miner, Hilda, and Cabby, and they traded back just Keep. So was a pretty solid fight for them.
Oh, face check into the bush. Face check right into a Glacial Fissure. Shutdown kill going over to Stevenator. Charismatic dead. All his tank stats mean nothing. Your Abyssal Mask means nothing. This Azir doing so much damage. Got a QSS now as well, by the way. Cocoon's gonna hurt a lot less with a QSS in the pocket of Stevenator. That's a 1-for-0 in favor of the Stormwolves.
Yep, definitely is. Dragon spawning in like 10 seconds, something like that. Yeah, my math was right. So that would be second dragon for either team. Oh, Flash!
Oh, and the Flash twisted advance, going to force the Cosmic Radiance. Repel going to keep Recycle Bin alive just long enough. Tony not going to be able to chase this one down. Sounds going down on the keep as well, chunking him pretty low. But Coin Flippers, they may have forced New England Stormwolves to back off. Can they force them off this dragon?
You know, there's not a lot of resources, especially health, for the Stormwolves. I'm not sure the Coin Flippers can push them off a bit. I don't know if they're actually missing.
I think they're going to try. Dragon's already low. 1K. It's down. It's Smite of the Way. Winter's Bite onto Kabi. Thought we might see an engage there. Streamer Soldiers not going to be committed on it. Looks like no fight. You were right.
Yeah, no fight there. The Stormwolves are going to pick up their second dragon. Cloud Soul, by the way. That should have been announced a while ago for the map as well. So they do have speed shrines in every corner of the jungle now. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of ultimate CDR. Could be very impactful. I mean, you have some pretty solid ults. I think a lot of them are just things like Nature's Grasp, where it's just kind of like, this is a big, very telegraphed CC ability that could have an effect in team fights, but I think more than likely probably won't. I mean, you know, it would have to be a pretty good Emperor's Divide to really change the outcome of a team fight. I think it's definitely possible, but I'm not sure Stevenator wants to like dive the enemy team just to get a good Emperor's Divide off. Definitely an option, but a lot of the ultimates are just kind of like that as well, Brahms too. So I don't know how valuable it is to pick up these dragons. Of course, I think you probably get them anyway. I just said, in terms of like how bad is this for Coin Flippers, I think Ocean Soul would probably have been much worse. So they should probably be thanking their lucky stars that they don't have to contend with that. But I mean, they're not out of the running for Dragon Soul themselves either. I mean, it's just one dragon lead for the Stormwolves at this point. It's just that now the Stormwolves have a bit of a gold lead as well, so it's going to be difficult. We do have Charismatic at level 12, so next level, as soon as they level up, they'll be leveling up both their items, the Abyssal Mask and Sunfire Cape too. Level after that, they can upgrade their allies' items. So I would think that you would probably be upgrading the Blade of the Rune King that Hilda has, but I mean, you have plenty of options there.
You know, I'm not actually sure. I think the most cost-efficient upgrade is almost always the Infinity Edge, but I don't know that for sure. I feel like that's what I always end up seeing. So if anyone in the chat knows the answer to that, I am more than happy to reach out and ask about that. I am still concerned though that Coin Flippers, they might just be too far behind. And now top lane, they're behind in the rotation as well. Pillar into Kabi. He does have the Cosmic Radiance. Is he going to die before it comes out? Not quite. Spinning Axis not doing quite enough damage. Dazzle, the condemned away from the Dazzle actually. Uber is still alive, still fine, still not stunned up. Teleport from Stevenator. It looks like New England Stormwolves are trying to shove this turret down, and they are most likely going to be able to. Nature's Grasp from Tony just to seal the deal. Demolish, not even going to be procced, doesn't need to be. Blue turret falling. Coin Flippers finally losing their top lane outer, the third in a long line of outer turrets to fall over.
Yeah, it's all been outer turrets from here, or so far, excuse me. Oh. Those Braum ults have been super strange this game. I feel like they haven't actually hit enemy champions very often.
You know, Stormwolves are on Baron right now. They just
Yeah.
they just use the Glacial Fish and Kabi on a flank. There's no Cosmic Radiance. I don't know who wins this fight. You know what? I think Stormwolves win it if Kabi dies right away. A huge Emperor's Divide onto 3. All of Point Flippers have been shoved into the meat grinder of the spinning axis. Charismatic, the only one left alive. There are some low health bars on Stormwolves, but my friends, and Ornn does not have the damage to capitalize on that. That's an ace for the Stormwolves. 23 minutes in, they've found 5 kills for nothing. They lost no one, and they were fighting Baron at the same time. They just wiped everything Coin Flippers had off the map.
Yeah, that was just absolutely disastrous. 8K gold lead now, so they're very much in the lead at this point. But yeah, like you mentioned, literally everything going wrong for the Coin Flippers at that point. To be honest, I feel like that fight goes a lot different if it starts with Charismatic rather than ending with Charismatic. Because as it was, the Ornn basically just like inted, I guess. I mean, I don't want to like say that, but there's no way he could kill all 5 of them. I mean, you can't 1v5 with the Ornn. Not at this level with these items anyway, but if they had started with Charismatic and started gone in and they had the setup from the Ornn Horn and things like that, it makes me wonder if Hilda's and Yoshiminer could have provided enough damage to maybe change that fight, because there were some low health bars, right? Oh, here we go. Stevenator.
I think he's in trouble. Nice Emperor's Divide gonna buy him some time, but shutdown to Hilda, that's a big shutdown, Axeman.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. The shutdown gold, it goes over if you're a Coin Flippers fan. That is for sure. Stevenator also using Emperor's Divide there. So that's a relatively short cooldown, but it could be impactful. In fact, about half the cooldown is going to be through by the time he gets back up. So maybe not too big. Dragon spawning here. We're going to see a fight over it, Baymax.
Yeah, Steve is still dead for Dragon. This is a 5 versus 4. I think the Stormwolves will be wise to give this away, but it's too late. A big, Nature's Grasp stopping the Ornn Horn. Call the Force going to get interrupted. Nether Grasp onto Keep. That is not who you wanted on. He's got no QSS. He's burning down. Shutdown for Yoshiminer. Coin Flippers wiping the fight. Cosmic Radiance keeping everyone alive. Kabi picking up with the kill. Uber is the last one standing. He's found a double. Can he find a triple? He's not got the damage to do it by himself. 3 kills. 3 for 2, actually. New England Stormwolves did strike back and find 2 kills of their own, but it doesn't matter. There's still a fight win and a dragon going over to Coin Flippers.
Yeah, and we're already starting to see champions like the Vayne, champions also like, like Ornn, now has both the items upgraded as well. We started to see some of that power in the last Baron play. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's why Charismatic even attempted that, is because they had just upgraded their items and thought, hey, maybe that'll make the difference. Also, they just didn't have vision of the enemy team, so they couldn't really see how low they were after their team died. But yeah, this is a real big Ornn right now. Obviously, he has I believe, a positive KDA at the moment. They're also doing fairly well in gold in relation to Maokai. Yeah, it's about like a 500 gold lead over the Maokai too. So you're starting to see the late game champions like start to come out and spread their wings a little bit and start to hit some pretty big power spikes. And you got the Rage Blade on Vayne.
Oh, you're good. I'm sorry. I was just pausing. You're right. If you wanted to keep expanding that point, go for it. I was just processing everything that's happened.
Yeah, you mentioned the Infinity Edge. I believe that is a more gold efficient item to upgrade for Ornn than Blade of the Ruin King is. I'm not sure how valuable it would be to wait for Molten Edge, though. I feel like you just kind of want to start hitting more power spikes, because while the Molten Edge might be a higher high, at this point I'm more concerned with just like elevation at all, because it does seem like they're bleeding out. We're seeing signs of life. They just won that fight over Dragon, but a lot of that was down to the Stevenator pick, and they can't count on getting a pick like that every time an objective comes up. So they really have to start making some decisions about this, because I mean, Hilda hasn't even started building an Infinity Edge, so it's going to be a while before they can upgrade it.
I don't know if Hilda even wants an Infinity Edge, right?
Yeah.
He's just trying to build attack speed on this Vayne right now, which means he's going to shred Tony and Uber and Handholder, but is he going to shred Keep or Stevenator is kind of the question. That's sort of a questionable Nature's Grasp used bot lane, you know? Cloud Dragon going to make Tony's probably not going to be that punished for that, hopefully, but still, that's a fairly big cooldown, and empowering Recycle Bin to get a little bit more aggressive in the jungle here. I had a point I was gonna make, but I forget what it was, quite frankly, but Recycleman collapsed on now. It's supposed to advance. He is way too far up, clearing vision. Repel, he's got nothing to repel to. He is just going to go down. Handholder picking up that kill. That's another kill going over to the Stormwolves.
Yep, so this time it's the Stormwolves picking up the pick, which leads me to believe it's about to get real rough for the coin flippers, as now the Stormwolves are shoving in this mid lane, and I don't think this inner turret is long for this world. It's already below 50% health. You have all 5 members of Stormwolves pushing it down. This one's going to be gone, and yes, it does go down. Azir turret is spawned in the outer turret location there, so it's going to be just that much more difficult to shove out of your own mid lane for the time being. But yeah, no objectives spawning for the next minute or so. I believe the Baron is just under a minute and 2 minutes till the Dragon. So I think that's why we're seeing
Axeman,
Stevenator.
You
Not
said
again.
Coin Flippers couldn't rely on a Stevenator catch-up, but they're trying, forcing the QSS, flash from Kabi, a nice dazzle, but Stevenator's got the happy feet. He's going to utilize his own flash and the shifting sands to get out of that one alive. Still, though, not a bad look.
Yeah, Stevenator blue flash too, right? So that's a fairly immobile champion. Obviously, you have the dash, which is on a pretty long cooldown, I believe, but flash makes him just that much more immobile being down. So yeah, that's definitely worth it. Trading the support flash for the mid laner flash. So very good play there, very valuable. They don't get the pick this time, so we'll see how much that changes the situation. But yeah, take a look at some of the items coming through. Zeal picked up here now for Hilda. More attack speed, like you said you were expecting. I don't think that's a huge item spike or anything like that. I believe that's the first crit they have in the build, though. So now we might see Vayne critting a little bit, too. I'm not sure if that's going to change the outcome of the fight. It could, I suppose, but Leandry's and Rylai's completed at some point for Yoshi, too. So carry's starting to get pretty big. Ornhorn channel.
This is a 5 versus 4 in the river because Tony is bot lane unanswered currently. That's why the Call of the Forge God is coming out right now, but unable to force the fight. Coin Flippers, they're forced to run backwards, actually, as they just slowly bleed out their bot lane turret. They were trying, but they couldn't find anything. Now looking mid lane, Stevenator clearing that wave, getting pressure for New England Stormwolves. It feels like Coin Flippers are just getting out macroed right now.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, he was in the side lane, like you mentioned. Had teleport up, too. I feel like Charismatic should have been down there, but he's a pretty big power point for his team at the moment, so it's difficult to not start a fight without him, especially since he's pretty much the extent of their engage, I would say. So it's kind of hard to have him in a side lane when you're trying to make a play on Baron, but now the Dragon has spawned as well, and here's the fight.
Kabi's caught out. Cosmic Radiance gonna just barely keep him alive. Uber diving for the backline. Cocoon gonna go wide from Recycle, but he's gonna fall to the Sand Soldier. Steven's got so much damage. Then the grasp onto Keep, but he's got the QSS. And Yoshi, you are all by yourself, dead on the side of the fight. Kabi's next in line. Double kill for Stevenator. Gonna turn that into a triple kill. Glacial Fisher knocking up Charismatic. The Stone Plate is buying a ton of time, but you know what? Time is not what you need. You need damage, my friend, and damage you do not have. An ace for the Stormwolves. They might end the game here, Axeman.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of damage to structure. Stevenator looks like he's staying on the Dragon, so I don't think they're going to try to end. Maybe they could have if they had Stevenator, though, because that's a lot more attack speed on the Azir, but they are definitely going to get this inhibitor here. We'll see if they go for a Nexus turret. Maybe not. There's a couple members of Coin Flippers starting to come up, so they are going to back off for the time being. Looks like they just might go straight to Baron, but I'm not really sure yet. They might, yeah, just getting some vision here in front of the Baron, and then they're going to get the reset in.
Don't want to overextend. Don't want to overplay your hand and try to bite off more than you can chew. I respect the recall, but he's not quite recalling yet. He knows how strong he is. He just forces Recycle Bin to step aside and then throws a couple axes in his face. That is a free pick on the jungler of Coin Flippers. If there was ever a time for Stormwolves to force Baron, this was it. Teleport coming through Tony. He might be by himself. This could actually be a pick for Coin Flippers. Tony finding himself a little bit of trouble, forcing his Nature's Grasp. Silver Bolt's doing so much damage. That's a kill for Kabi. A nice Emperor's Divide, but it only finds one. Charismatic, so tanky. That's not who you want on the backline. Hilda finding a shutdown on Stevenator, still barely alive, but gonna get picked up by Keep, who is also trading so much damage. Back at 3 for 2 now, and the re-engage coming through. Flash forward, forcing Cosmic Radiance. Nether Grasp was gonna buy some time for Kabi, but again, time is just not on the side of Coin Flippers. Yoshi picking up 1 kill, but Keep still alive, still healthy. So much healing coming through from the Bloodthirster. this is a ridiculously strong Draven.
Yeah, I'll say, and it seems like we haven't seen too much from Keep. Obviously, I was pretty sure they were fairly strong. They have just a ton of CS and a ton of gold on hand. That was the first time we kind of seen Keep just like pop off in a fight and get like, I believe he got a triple kill in that one. I'm not 100% on that one, but yeah. So, yeah, Draven absolutely massive, 10-12 right now, all pushing 300 CS. So. Very, very strong indeed. We saw him make that inhib play and then not actually back. Didn't get the reset. He took the enemy jungle camp on that side and actually then got the pick onto recycled in. At this point, well, at the time, Keep had 3,500 gold in pocket and didn't reset. I believe they did that because like Draven isn't going to get much stronger from here on out. He had maybe one item left to complete, so figured, hey, if I'm not going to get stronger and I have full health and like half my mana pool, I just won't reset. And obviously getting a lot of value from that decision.
Yeah, obviously a lot of value, right? And you nailed it. Keep his full build now. He's got the Mercurial Scimitar completed. Baron just melting before Stormwolves. Coin Flippers reduced to shivering in their base. They've got maybe one more fight before Stormwolves can look to end this game. Baron buff in hand, pressure mid and top. New England Stormwolves, this could be the last push, X-Men. This could be it. This could be it for game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Charismatic did upgrade the Blade of the Ruin King for Hilda at some point there. I didn't catch that one. But also Luden's Echo and also some of these Hourglass were also upgraded.
God. Look at that turret melt. Charismatic trying to force the fight. Got the call of the Forge. Got Uber taking a lot of damage from Silver Bolts. But
Wow.
Cosmic Radiance is not even going to find the protection for Charismatic. Shutdown kill going over. Keep picking up one. His first of the fight. Is he going to find another? The suppression is going to buy him some time. Crypto style a little bit, but that doesn't even matter at all.
No.
Second kill going over. This is it. Coin Flippers are routed. So much dying. So much damage. Stevenator and Keep are just unstoppable. Tony and Uber is so tanky as well. Redemption keeping them alive. This is the end of game number 1. New England Stormwolves stick it to Coin Flippers.
Definitely, and this puts the Coin Flippers in a very awkward situation for Game 2 draft. Is that something they really have to consider is like, do we ban Draven? That's a very hard question, Baymax. You know, I feel like if you throw a ban at Draven, you just earn yourself an MF game, and then essentially the same thing happens, but your team fights are just terrible. I don't really know, but also kind of same thing with Azir. Do we ban Azir? That's always been.
I'm always down for banning Azir.
Yeah, I know, right?
I am always game for banning Azir. I hate that champion. Oh my
It is
God.
kind of the same situation though, because like Azir does a lot of things that are very unique, but he also does a lot of the same things that Corki just does, that Cassiopeia just does, the exact same thing. So unless you're gonna ban all of them, is there any point in banning one of them? I don't know. I would have to say Azir is probably the strongest of that cadre of champions that kind of sustain damage mage in the mid lane, but I don't know if it's worth banning. Obviously, you feel strongly about it. I don't blame you. Getting destroyed by an Azir, especially this hard, is very, very hard to take indeed. But yeah, what do you think of that one, Baymax? That was nuts.
That was insane. I think both these teams really showed why they are so good, why Coin Flippers won the finals last season, and why the New England Stormwolves are currently undefeated and honestly looking like maybe the favorite to win this season. And you know, honestly, my read of this game, I feel like both teams played pretty well, but Coin Flippers, they just, when they made a mistake, they got punished. They got punished hard. The Stormwolves, they played around each other. They played around their cooldowns so well. It almost felt like across the board, the Stormwolves were just one step ahead of whatever Coin Flippers were trying to do. They were there first in the macro plays. They were there first in some of the team fights. They were making things come together, and it was a super impressive game from Stormwolves. And I'm scared. I'm scared for Coin Flippers, and honestly, I'm scared for any other team that is going to have to face off against the Stormwolves, because that was pretty scary.
Yeah, and I'll say I haven't cast a whole lot of Hilda before. Obviously, I believe they're subbing in for somebody else. I don't think that's normally the ADC for Coin Flippers. I'll check real quick. Yeah, normally it's Recycle Bin, and then Recycle Bin was on jungle this game, subbing in for Zero Armed. So, yeah, I haven't cast a whole lot of them, so without knowing their champion pool or anything, I think this game looks a lot different and a lot better for the coin flippers if you have Varus there instead of Vayne, or really a lot of marksmen. I mean, Vayne is fantastic in the late game, but is so not to make a pun, it's kind of coin flippy, right? I mean, obviously, even though they got to the 35-minute mark, there was just never a point where Hilda was stronger than Draven. And that's real rough, right? So maybe just more of an even-handed champion that they can depend on a little bit more, a little bit earlier in the game might have helped this comp out a whole lot.
All right, I think with that we are gonna throw it to a break. We've got a series on our hands still. You know, coin flippers could definitely come back into this one, but Stormwolves have demonstrated themselves to be a force to be reckoned with here. So, Axeman, I'm throwing it to a break. We'll be back in a few minutes or so, probably about 5 minutes on this break before we jump into game number 2. Thank you to all of our loyal viewers who have stuck with us through game number 1. I hope you stay for the rest of the series. We will be right back in just a few short minutes. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Saturday night broadcast of the Shurima Group, Storm Wolves versus Coin Flippers, game number 2. We're in game number 2 of the best of 3. Coin Flippers lost game number 1, taken away by Storm Wolves. Can they make a comeback in game number 2? Or are the Storm Wolves going to go with a quick 2-0 here? I think I know what my hunch is, but Axeman, I'm going to throw it to you. How's it going?
I'm doing fine, Baymax. But I'm not sure. We saw some signs of life from the coin flippers there in game 1. We saw them have a lot of outplays. I mean, we saw some Vayne just kind of flip a fight down the bot lane onto a Draven, which was wild to me. And all of a sudden, coin flippers were winning fights across the map. They came back briefly from like a 4K gold lead and then brought it back to even before immediately losing again at the next objective fight, which was pretty strange. But I think if there's a team in the Shurima group that can beat the Storm Wolves, it's probably the coin flippers. They seem to be doing relatively okay. Now, that said, there was a lot of times when the Storm Wolves looked absolutely dominant, just like destroying everything the coin flippers were trying to do. So I would have to say if this game was played out 100 times, I feel like 75 of them are won by the Storm Wolves. But I guess we're about to find out here in game 2. And already pretty bizarre. Things started out okay. You got the Maokai into Ornn, fairly standard. Graves Kane, also pretty standard. But really down the bot lane is where things kind of fell apart for the Storm Wolves, where it's Rengar set, Baymax.
Yeah. Most of the time if I see a Rengar bot lane, it's usually paired with an Ivern support, and even that is exceptionally rare. But here we are with Keep and Handholder on Rengar set. I am not going to lie, I don't think that this is good at all into what coin flippers have drafted. Ezreal, Braum, so good at kiting back, so good at staying alive, so good at staying safe versus a cheese lane, right? And then later on to the game, how the heck are Storm Wolves going to be able to deal with Charismatic, with Zero Armed, right? Red Kane, Rost, so much healing. Maokai, such a big tank. I feel like the DPS is not going to be there without a real AD carry. You could say, Graves is sort of an AD carry, and sure, he can do okay, but I think he's too short range. I think he's not safe enough to dish out the kind of damage or stay alive long enough to deal with what coin flippers have. I actually like coin flippers draft a lot more here.
Yeah, I see the possibility for the Storm Wolves comp to have issues with target access, especially when looking at Ahri and Ezreal, who are very slippery champions. They do have some tools. I feel like the Rengar probably gets onto the backline fairly easily. I mean, if he's ulting back there, there is other target access. I mean, you have
easy backline access.
I'm not saying it's easy.
Maokai.
I'm saying that you have some backline access tools, but that is a weakness for this comp. It's going to be difficult for this team to get onto the backline. Really, you're talking about like using ultimates for most of these champions to even hit a backline. So that is going to be a massive weakness for their comp. And barring Keep or Handholder just using their ults to get back there, that's about it. That's all you got for backline access. So that is going to be kind of rough for them. Now, that said, if anybody gets in range of them, they're going down pretty quick, right? And we have Syndra, who is just absolutely destroying people, especially with the ultimate just being point and click. It's not like Ahri can dodge it. It's not like Ezreal can dodge it. So that's going to be a very powerful single target tool when they start moving forward. But again, you have to like be in range to be able to click on them too. So Graves, much the same way, can do a lot of damage, but like you already mentioned, very short range and doesn't quite have the mobility to get into the back line. So I mean, this is a strong team, or I'll say this is a strong group of champions. This is a strong group of champions. I'm not sure this is a strong team.
You touched on it. I want to reiterate it, right? Storm Wolves, they, in my opinion, 110 million% get outscaled here. The thing to watch out for though is Stormwolves actually have really strong skirmishing early on into the game. Set Rengar do a ton of damage early on. Syndra does a ton of damage early on. Graves does pretty good damage early on. He's very safe and he's good at farming, good at kiting, good at doing jungle objectives. So and conversely, on the side of Coin Flippers, they got champions that scale basically across the board. Yoshi Miner is probably not going to have pressure in that mid lane wave early on. Zero armed on Kayn. Kayn is a weak pick early. Maokai top, it's a tank. Like, he's fine. We saw the Maokai Ornn matchup last time. It was fine. Like, it's not like he's going to have a ton of pressure and be a strong skirmisher early. And I get, Ezreal bot lane needs time to scale, needs time to come online, doesn't do damage early. So Stormwolves, they are going to have opportunities. They can look to force fights early on in the game, pressure objectives, take first dragon, first herald, second herald, and try to get a snowball going, because they do have an aggressive early game comp. I think they definitely get hard outscaled, but if the game doesn't make it that far, then, Stormwolves, they've drafted a comp that can snowball ridiculously well.
Here's a theory for you, Baymax. Stormwolves just picked a comp of champions that have the highest ban rates in their different positions, except for like Rengar, who obviously isn't a marksman or an ADC or anything. Does that seem right to you? I mean, you're looking at Ornn, Graves, Syndra.
They're definitely strong
Set.
Champions. They're definitely strong champions. I don't know about their ban rates, but this is something. Stormwolves, I feel like last game they set out to prove, or I feel like they feel like they've proved that they are better players, and they are trying to test that. They're trying to push that. They're saying, all right, we're going to skill check you. We're going to pick aggressive picks. We're going to pick what we want. To hell with team comp, and we are just going to take the fight to you. We're going to see if you can deal with it. We're going to skill check you.
Definitely a little bit of strange action here from the Stormwolves to start off. Couple in the tri-bush. Looks like we're going to move back to the red buff. It's not a whole lot of, I guess, communication coming through at the moment. Yeah, everybody's just going to go to their respective lanes at this point. Meanwhile, Coin Flipper is just kind of 5 point. Getting the defensive stance set up, making sure they have the jungle entrances covered. It's going to be a slow start here for the beginning of the game. I would probably expect this. There's not a whole lot of great level 1 here. I would say Rengar might have the best level 1. I'm kind of looking around. I think Braum might be pretty scary with passive, but beyond that, I think, it makes a lot of sense that this was a slow level 1 here. Pretty much standard starts. Zero Armed is starting Raptors, which is, more common for Kayn, I would say. But most notably, the junglers are going to be in retrograde, so they're going to be looking for separate scuttle crabs as they move forward, so they won't be meeting each other as early here. That's definitely something Kayn wants more so than Uber, I would say. Not that Graves really wants to, 1v1 a jungler very early anyway, but probably would come out better than that than Kayn would, I would think. So, yeah, we're not going to see a whole lot of fighting here in the early game. Oh, keep going in on Cabby as I say that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you might be mistaken about that one, because, these lanes are very aggressive, right? Junglers, maybe not so much. Graves, maybe not that great at skirmishing early. He's definitely pretty good at power farming and just farming it up. But bot lane, that is not a lane that's farming. First blood going over to Kabi, forcing the flash from Handholder, and Keep holds on to his own flash, ends up deciding to pay with his life instead.
Okay, so I don't want to say that Keep didn't have a plan going in there, but it definitely looked that way. He was just kind of popping from the bush back to the CS, and eventually he just took so much poke that Recycleman and Cabby all ended him and killed him, which seems kind of like an open and shut trade, and that maybe they didn't think this bot lane through when they picked it, but maybe they did, and that was just a one-time thing.
Maybe. We'll see. For now, definitely a lead going over to the Coin Flippers bot side, and I think you're seeing, like, this is why why I so heavily favored the Coin Flippers team comp, I think, is mostly because of this bot lane, right? You have Ezreal Braum versus Rengar Set. How the heck do you engage on that if you're the Rengar Set? Like, you're not going to kill Kabi. You're not going to one-shot him off the gate unless you're, like, ridiculously fed. And Recycle Bin, he's got his Arcane Shift. He'll stay safe. He's a Ezreal is a safe pick, and he is surprisingly hard to kill a lot of the time, especially with Conqueror. He's got a lot of healing coming through once he gets items, and he might end up going that Korean build that, you know, you build Death Stance, you build pretty tanky. Now, dashing forward, Keep might be in trouble here. He's got tagged by the Braum passive, gonna get himself out of that one alive, but Handholder not quite so lucky. No flash, no life. Gonna go down, zero arms, forcing the healing pops from Recycle Bin as he takes one turret shot too many. Does manage to stay alive, though. A second kill in this game, going over to Coin Flippers.
Yeah, it's a lot of red dust going over to Zero Arm there. They should be able to get Ross fairly early if they have more ganks like that. So that's definitely a positive for them as well. Really, you could just come down and keep camping bot, and not only are providing a lot of value to Recycle Bin and Cabby, but with two melee champions in one gank, you could get so much dust that it's almost unheard of, right? I mean, there aren't a whole lot of melee duo lanes that are in any sort of viability right now in the meta. So this is kind of a pretty good game for a Kane to be in at the moment.
Uber now looking bot side, standing on a ward though, and Handholder slowed up by that Winter's Bite. He's tried to engage a couple times now, and just on the receiving ends of the concussive blows, not quite able to make it come through.
Yep, not quite getting that one over. But First Dragon has spawned. It's a Cloud Dragon, so no more Cloud Soul, not like game one. And checking on the top lane, Charismatic and Tony Little just kind of going even, like that lane should go. Not too much action going on up in the top lane. Mid lane, things going pretty well for Stevenator. Has a lot of gold. Just backed, actually. Was able to spend some of it. They didn't quite get the Lost Chapter, though, so not hitting that little spike there. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Keep on Recycle Bin.
Stacking up some of that passive. Oh, mid lane. Wait, Recycle Bin. Bot lane. That's bot lane? No, what's happening? I don't know. You said Recycle Bin. It confused me. I'm sorry. Keep picking up a kill on the boss side of the map. Jumping all over those bushes. Punishing Recycle Bin. Taking away his flash. It is Recycle Bin bot lane. I don't know why I didn't see his name the first time I looked over there. I was like, what's happening? Where is he? What's going on? That's a kill over to the Rengar. That's pretty big.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he has a kill where Recycle Bin doesn't now. I mean, it was Cabby that picked up the kill earlier, so still doing pretty well in this lane. He also has a 10 CS lead, having pushed in that whole massive wave into the enemy tower there. That's going to put Recycle Bin fairly far behind, depending on how much of this he can clear. If he gets most of this, he should be okay, but if he doesn't, he's going to be in a world of hurt. Going to be very far behind in a matchup where he should be out CSing, right? I mean,
I'm sorry to say this. I've got to call a pause right now. If you can pause and our host can pause, we're going to have to go to a short break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. It shouldn't take too long, but I'm having some technical issues. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for hanging with us through that short break. We shouldn't have any more problems anymore. We got our little bit of an issue resolved there. We are back on the Rift, and you didn't miss any of the action, so that is awesome. That's fantastic. We got a dragon that spawned on the map here, Axeman.
Yeah, we definitely did. Got the Cloud Drake coming through. I believe this is still the first dragon. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Fighting the bot lane.
That was a really, really nice face breaker coming through from Handholder, leading to a kill on the keep. Now double teleports coming through. Charismatic and Tony have both arrived. Ornhorn immediately called down, smacking around Cobby a little bit, finding the brittle passive. Roam down from Stevenator means that this is Storm Wolves all day long, every day. Second kill going over. Not going to quite find a third. Zero going to live with just a little bit of HP left after that unleashed power. Still, though, definitely a massive fight win for the Stormwolves.
Yeah, absolutely. And suddenly this kind of fringe Rengar pick is looking like really, really good. Baymax 3-1-0 scoreline on Rengar, shutdown goal too. They're going to be looking for this dragon, and it's very likely that they're going to be able to pick this one up. Yoshiminer desperately pushing in the mid lane, picks up one plating for their troubles. Stevenator might be trying to get some revenge for that plating, but isn't quite able to. Both mid laners trading quite a bit of damage here. Stevenator, I don't think has enough mana for an ult. I think, yeah, it definitely doesn't now. So they'll have to be taking a reset. They can't stay in this lane anymore. Yoshiminer probably going for the reset as well.
Yeah,
the bot lane.
Thought the concussive blows might turn into something there, but I was wrong. Rengar actually pretty good, right? Because you can step up that stack up that ferocity on his W, on his battle roar, and just make sure you always have that cleanse ready when the concussive blows stack. So not actually a terrible pick into the Braum for that reason, but still, I feel like this is a pick that probably wouldn't work out if Keep didn't get ahead. But 3 kills early, that changes the game, right? That changes everything.
Yeah, there aren't too many champions that couldn't start to win a bot lane if they started out with that kind of lead, right? Zero Armed looking for the gank up top lane.
Forcing the flash from Tony over the wall with the Umbral, or with the Shadow Step. Umbral Trespass not even gonna have to be used here. Zero Armed picking up a kill for himself. He's gotta have Rost soon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's got to be coming up at some point. Charismatic probably not able to do that. Oh, they fight in the bot lane. Handholder takes that ignite. Taken very low by ignite there. But yeah, up in the top lane. Oh, wow. Yeah, True Shot Barrage actually going narrowly wide. Definitely would have killed Handholder that one. But that gank up in the top lane, it's kind of obvious, but I don't think Charismatic could have made any of that happen without Zero Armed. They are level up ahead at the moment over Tony, but I think that's more of like a, having been in lane a little bit longer just now. Oh, Stevenator getting real low in the mid lane.
Yoshi could have actually killed him, I think. He underestimated his damage there. Had Ignite, had Ultimate. Stevenator's got to be a little bit more careful moving forward. This is a Glacial Augment Ahri, which means not as much kill pressure as you would normally want with like Ignite or something, but still, Ahri does a pretty good amount of damage, especially if you can land that charm.
Yeah, definitely, and they are still pushing the lane in. They're probably going to get a whole nother plating in there too. So we can take a look at the gold lead. I imagine it's fairly close. Yeah, like 150 is the difference between them. Ahri is just up a little bit of gold there, basically from the platings they've been getting, while Stevenator roams and doesn't get too much out of it. So yeah, both mid laners pretty even. I believe Syndra outscales Ahri. I'm not 100% on that.
I think it sort of depends on the context. Especially with Glacial Augment Ahri, right? In terms of like damage and one-shotting carry power, probably Syndra. But in terms of setting up for the rest of your team, it's going to be Ahri. Now Glacial Fisher bot lane. It's Coinflippers bot lane setting up for their jungler. Zero Armed has arrived. He's got Rost. He got a big knockup, but keeps doing so much damage, finding one kill on a Cobby, forcing the flash and heal from Recycle, but he's next in line. And now it's just Zero Armed finding himself in the 1v2. He is on a killing spree, finding one shutdown. Can he find another? Umbral Trespass is still there. That's going to be a Reaping Slash for a massive shutdown kill. 3, 4, 2, 0, or 2 for 2. Zero Armed coming out big.
Yeah, Zero Armed really just winning that fight for his team. Now he's got the 4 kills, 4-0, that score line there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Rift Herald is dropped by Uralis. And Rift Herald is going to be taking the majority of this turret. I don't think it gets all of it. Yeah, it doesn't quite get all of it. So they'll be doing a little bit more work to get that turret down. Oh my goodness, Zero Arm and Cabby are taking very, very low here. Basically have to back off, which leaves Uber Alice and Steven are just kind of free pushing on this turret. They get a whole nother plating. Now it's just one plating left on this outer mid turret here. Oh my goodness.
Top lane. Charismatic is so low, but that's a big team fighting cooldown that Tony doesn't have now. That could be important. I want to quickly talk about Zero Armed here because we mentioned it in the champs, like in the draft a little bit earlier on. I think that if there's one champion on coin flippers that you don't want fed, if you're Stormwolves, it's probably Rost. It's probably Kane. It's probably Zero Armed. I think that this guy is going to be so hard for Stormwolves to deal with without a source of consistent DPS that they can utilize, without a real AD carry. I think they're going to have a very hard time chewing through Zero Armed. I think this is, normally I'd say with a 5-2 Rengar, things are looking pretty bad for coin flippers, but Zero Armed, I think he can definitely carry. Rost is that strong right now.
Yeah, he's super strong. What I will say is that a lot of what we said, oh, here we go. Glacial Arm on Stevenator. Okay, nothing coming of that. I thought maybe the GLP would lead into something more, but I guess Yoshiminer didn't get what they were looking for. They nailed the GLP, but
well, force the cleanse from Stevenator, right? That was the big thing, because you need the damage you need that damage amplification from the charm. Otherwise, the one-shot power is not really there. Now looking mid lane, Uber and Zero Armed both sort of exerting their pressure. Zero was on a ward, I think, but Uber is still walking to him anyway. Gets knocked up by the Blade's reach, trying to kite away, gonna flash to get himself out. Is going to be alive. That's a 2-level difference now between Zero Armed and Uber. Going in. I don't know if you want that Keep. Taking some damage. Yoshiminer might have a Spirit Rush. Ignite going to be taken down on Keep to try to look for a kill. Keep finding one, getting traded back. Zero Armed, though, he's so deep. Does still have the Unbreakable Trespass. He's looking for a 1 versus 4. Can he find it? He's healing a lot. The Unbreakable blocking Unleashed power, but the shutdown is still coming through. Now Call the Forge God as Charismatic teleports through, but as well, behind the rest of Stormwolves, looking for a twisted advance onto Tony, but the damage, the follow-up is just not there. That was a 2-for-1 in favor of Stormwolves. Big shutdown onto Zero Armed.
Yeah, definitely. And the shutdown, I think, was the biggest part of this whole fight, was getting Zero Arm down. He was kind of by himself, just waiting in the enemy team for a long time, which leads me to my point is that some of the biggest weaknesses we identified for the Stormwolves comp was that they would have problems with target access. If it's Kane that's carrying the coin flippers, they're not going to have any problems because the Kane will literally come to them. That's not good for the coin flippers, right? I would have to imagine that while it's good having Zero Armed in this place, they need either Recycle Bin or Yoshiminer to have some power on them too for them to have any chance in these team fights. Because like we saw, Zero Arm was waiting the enemy team. He was doing tons of damage, got a kill, all that good stuff. But if it's just him up front, even him and Charismatic and Cabby, that's an issue because then they're all getting absolutely bursted down.
You don't want to get bursted down. You don't want to get bursted down by a 6-3 Rengar. That's a scary thing. Now Dragon spawning in the map as well, and that 6-3 Rengar has got pressure for Stormwolves over this Dragon, second Dragon of the game. So if Stormwolves are trying to get themselves a quick and easy Mountain or Infernal Soul, they are well on their way to doing it. It looks like it is going to be a Mountain Soul, which is, I think you maybe prefer to see the Osh or I think you maybe prefer to see the Infernal Soul, but yeah. Mountain Soul, you take those.
Yeah, you definitely take those, and both teams can make use of it, right? You have a Maokai and a Braum. You have an Ornn that's set. You love to see the tank stats coming through, so that's always a good time. I think Yoshiminer goes golden in the mid lane.
Yeah,
there's the ult.
You can't dodge an Unleashed power. You cannot dodge an Unleashed power. Now looking bot side, gank coming from Uber. Recycle Bin might be in trouble here. Nearsighted, blocked by the smoke screen. So much damage from Keep. A nice Glacial Fissure to stall for some time, but it's not even close to being enough. Kabi, you are just not tanky at all. Unbreakable finally comes up, but that's a double kill for Uber. Bot lane turret falling as well. Zero Armed is here to maybe try to whip up some scraps or maybe look for something. Looking for the Blades reach on Keep. Keep face checks into him, but it is a 1 versus 3. Showstopper still available. I don't think you win this one, but he's going to try. Uses the Umbral Trespass onto Uber, trying to get to that Blast Plant to get out, but that is another big kill going over to Stormwolves.
Yeah, so that's 3 kills in first turret. That's a lot of gold, Baymax. Gold leads at like 4K now for the Stormwolves. They do have both dragons as well, so starting to look very, very powerful here, despite their comps' perceived weaknesses. Yeah, all of a sudden they're very much in control of this game, very much in control of this map. Charismatic and Tony Lil have just been going at it up in the top lane. Oh, actually, we're gonna get called the Forge God here. I wasn't expecting that. Gonna get dodged.
What a wet noodle fight. I still don't think anybody's actually going to die. Both tanks, top lane sitting on flash still. Tony might look for a flash of some kind, but just going to get it in kind from Charismatic there. Red team, losing the turret though. Coin flippers, losing that, what turret even was that? Was that mid lane? What happened
that was
there?
mid lane.
I didn't even see. I was too busy staring at top lane. Thank you for the save. Mid lane turret going down. Ooh.
Yep, Zero Arms. Probably going to get the kill on the Tony here, I would imagine.
He's got nowhere to go. He's got no flash. So,
yeah.
yes.
So we're saying they're welcome up in the top
with
lane.
Herald up topside as well. That could get rough.
Definitely. The Stormwolves are going to be looking for this Rift Herald. I think they do have the numbers up there. They have like 4 champions up on the top side of the map. And it might be contested here by the coin flippers. I mean, they have a little bit of vision control over the Rift Herald pit, but it's going to be pretty rough. We'll see what happens.
It's definitely going to be contested. Zero's looking for the fight. Keepass go ahead and use the throw of the hunt to get himself out of dodge on that one, but Handholder not quite as lucky. A big haymaker though. Kabi's going to drop, and Keep is still alive, taking so much damage. Twisted advance to find the stun. Jumps out of that one, running for his life. The bullet strike not going to connect. Zero looking for Uber now. Blaze Reach gonna land. Umbral Trespass forced out for healing. Conqueror fully stacked, barely alive. Through the wall, Zero-armed healing back up again. Keep on a killing spree, but traded back onto Charismatic. Now Charismatic finding himself in a 1v2, soon to be a 1v3. He's healthy, but does he have the damage? Does he have the fight left in him? Looks like he's going to try to run himself out of this one, using the Nature's Grasp to disengage what remains of the fight. At the end of the day, it was a long fight. A lot happened. It was very back and forth and very close, but a 2-for-1. Again, another fight in favor of the Stormwolves.
Yeah, down the bot lane, recycle bin, trying to get some damage onto the tower. Didn't quite take the tower down in the end, so unfortunate there for them. Charismatic might be caught here in the river, topside.
He's a pretty tanky boy. He did manage to get his Aftershock procs. I think he's going to be okay, but you know who's not going to be okay, Axeman? This Herald, this poor Herald, Shelly, is dying before our very eyes. We are witnessing a murder of a poor innocent Rift creature. Stormwolves, how can you live with yourselves? How do you sleep at night?
They do it for the gold, Baymax. They got the Rift Herald down now. Should have a pretty easy time taking an inner turret now that they have that one. Not 100%. I believe the inner mid lane turret might just take a Rift Herald and go down just from that. But if not, maybe just a couple more autos and that'll take the turret down. I feel like it really is Stormwolves that have the advantage in this fight. Almost 6K is the gold lead now, so very, very commanding indeed. And there's no epic monsters at all for the coin flippers. Well, next dragon in 30 seconds.
Yeah, dragon is spawning. I wanted to talk about the mid lane again because you mentioned you think that Syndra outscales. I think it's close. I think Cinder can outscale. I'll put it this way, though. Anybody outscales if you're up an entire item, right? Whoever gets the items first is the one that outscales. And we're seeing an item difference mid lane. Now an engage coming through. Keep is dead. First casualty from Stormwolves. This is big. This is huge. The key carry is down. Recycleman finding one of the Handholder as well. Handholder, you bit off so much more than you can chew. Call the Forge God coming through on the flank. Finding Stevenator. He's got flash. He doesn't even matter. Blades Reach finding another knockup. The pain train is just rolling through the station. A 4th kill. Coin flippers, they strike back in a big way after finding a huge pick onto the key carry of Stormwolves.
Yeah, absolutely. And if coin flippers are able to stack up a bunch of these mountain dragons, that's gonna be huge for them, right? I mean, we saw a lot of the Stormwolves really bullying Charismatic. We've seen Keep absolutely one-shot Cabby. If they get enough of these mountain dragons, they won't be able to do that anymore. So that would be very, very impactful indeed. Now it's Charismatic and Recycle Bin looking to get this turret once and for all. I'm not sure if they can get it. This Demolish proc might do it though. Yeah, that's going to be that turret.
Twisted advance forward. They're looking for more than the turret, Axeman. Uber's caught up. Concussive blows. He's stunned. He's dead. Shutdown onto Charismatic. And here comes Zero. Little did Handholder and Uber know that all of Coin Flippers stayed for that turret. Another 2 kills.
Yeah, another two picks, really. I mean, I don't think the Stormwolves are really expecting that one, but now the kills are even, which is a pretty critical, but only 1K is the gold lead now for the Stormwolves. It used to be 6K, so this is insane. It's super back and forth. I think the only big difference is that the coin flippers, I don't think, have been ahead yet in this series. They always seem to make pretty big comebacks, come to about even with the Stormwolves, and then fall behind again. So we're at another stage where they're looking to be about even. They're just 1K behind. So maybe they can finally snowball this into some kind of lead because they just haven't had one yet.
There's a key difference here, I think, X-Man. I think that key difference is that last game the Stormwolves had scaling. They maybe even outscaled. They had that Azir. They had Stevenator, right? This time, where is the scaling option from Stormwolves? I think they can still win fights, but they've got to be careful because they throw too many more fights, they're going to lose the game. Now keep looking for the engage. Going to eat a Glacial Fissure to the face, barely get himself out alive on that one. Handholder might not be as lucky. A nice face breaker means two are going to be caught up. That's 2 for 1. Handholder pays with his life, but Kabi and Recycle Pin are dead. Teleport coming through from Charismatic. Zero on the nice double knockup onto Uber. There's no unleashed power. Remember, Uber's got nowhere to go. A double kill for Yoshi and another for Zero Armed. Keep, you are the last one standing and you're gonna go down. Stevenator has dipped out of dodge. He is gone. He is out. That was a 4 for 3 actually after a nice shutdown for Stevenator, but is he gonna pay with it, or is he gonna pay for it with his life? Charismatic flashing to chase after, but doesn't quite have the movement speed he needs. Still though, Stormwolves, they start off in that fight strong, but they do not have the damage to deal with Zero Armed and Charismatic.
Yeah, that really just illustrated how dangerous Stevenator was. He was separated from the rest of his team for the majority of that fight, and I really feel like that's how the coin flippers won, is that they just kind of separated the team on either side of that red pit, and that was just like, that was the whole story. Stevenator wasn't able to do any damage right up until they deleted Yoshiminer, but that really illustrates how important Stevenator is to their comp right now. If Keep can't make anything happen, the damage has to come from Stevenator. Uber's doing a little damage as well, but the vast majority of it has to come from the Syndra.
Zero Armed, I don't know if you want this, but he knows that he wants it. That's Keep dead as soon as he came alive again. Shutdown is going to get traded back this time. Stevenator with the unleashed power, gonna find a big shutdown onto Zero. Now Handholder looking for more, still hold on to the Haymaker. A lot of true damage onto Kabi. He's gonna be the next to fall, but a quick re-engage from Yoshi, who has arrived with a Spirit Rush, means that Stevenator is following in the footsteps of Kabi. Now Call of the Forge got a Tony on the flank, fighting a knockup on Yoshi, who again, flash just off cooldown, doesn't have the Spirit Rush, might have to disengage this one. A nice charm on Tony, forcing his flash in kind. A 3 for 2, again favoring the coin flippers.
Wow, and they're still not ahead in gold. They're dead even now with the Stormwolves. So
they're ahead, 100 gold. They were just ahead.
They did break it? Okay.
They were just ahead.
They're like less than 100 gold ahead at this point, so they're finally in the lead here in this series in Game 2. Maybe they can steamroll this into a win. I don't know. We're going to have to find out. But Next Dragon in less than a minute now, that's definitely going to be a big step forward towards just achieving map control, is being able to finally contest this dragon and finally kind of even out the dragon numbers too. I already mentioned if they could stack up those mountain dragons, this could be huge for them, right? I mean, suddenly a lot of members of their team are getting further and further closer to being unkillable, especially Charismatic. Oh, here we go. Zero Arms.
Maybe looking for a fight. I'll go so far as to say I think that if coin flippers get their hands on this dragon, the game is over. Coin flippers win. I'm throwing that out there. I think that it is that important right now, especially just not only because of the dragon, but because of where we are in the game, the stage of the game. Stormwolves are falling off. They need to find a win. This might be their chance. Zero Arm is pretty deep. He goes onto the back line, 1 versus 4, but it's not 1 versus 4. Kabi says, I am here. I am with you. I'm here to support you. I have my Unbreakable. And suddenly all of coin flippers have arrived. GLP slow from Yoshi is so hard to run away from. Wow, there's just so much death happening. Tony is dead. Uber is dead. Keep has died. Handholder trying to run away. Coin flippers wiped the fight with ease. With ease. There was no hope. Stormwolves, they just got run over. Axeman, this game, it's not technically over yet. Stormwolves' nexus still stands, but coin flippers, they are almost certainly going to a Game 3 here. Now in the bush, Stevenator looking for a pick. Nice Zanias from Yoshiminer means that Stevenator It was all for naught. Your attempt was in vain. Another kill going into the coin flippers meat grinder as Zero Armed and Recycle Bin and Kabi and Charismatic, they are pushing to start up this Baron.
Will this be the first game that the Storm Wolves drop this season? It's starting to look like it, Baymax. I mean, gold lead, let's forget about the gold lead for a minute. That's usually a metric we use to decide who's ahead, who's powerful right now. The gold lead isn't that much in favor of the coin flippers right now. They look like way stronger than the gold lead would let on, right? I mean, they're absolutely dominating these team fights. It's not even close, and now they're taking down the Baron. It's going down incredibly fast, too. Which is a little nuts. I mean, I guess they have the Ezreal, takes it down pretty quickly. But yeah, they just look so strong, almost out of nowhere too, right? I mean, you mentioned they outscaled, but we're not even at 30 minutes yet. So I don't think even the scaling can really, explain what's happening right now. I think they're just kind of outplaying in a lot of situations. Keep is getting picked. A lot of the times, which isn't helping because so much of this team's gold is on the Rengar. And yeah, they're just kind of rolling that into a team fight win, and they've done it 2-3 times in a row now. So, yeah, if they could keep getting picks like that, it's gonna be huge.
I agree that coin flippers have been outplaying, but also, 3 items is typically the point where you start to see the scaling champions really start to come online, right? If you can't come online by the 3rd item, you're probably a useless champion. I don't know who you even are at that point, but you see like 3.5 items now on Zero Arm, 3.5 items now on Recycle Bin. These guys are really starting to come online in a big way, hitting those scaling breakpoints. I think that Death's Dance is a huge breakpoint for Zero Arms. I think Recycle Bin might end up going for a Death's Dance as well, being that he is running, I believe, the Korean build. He's got his Iceborne Gauntlet and Muramana stacked up, so he's in an exceptionally strong spot as well here. And with Baron in the hands of coin flippers, it's their game to lose, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is. They're applying a lot of man pressure at the moment. 1-3-1 is kind of the formation they're going for right now. So pushing every single lane with using that Baron buff to its full potential. I guess you could say we're starting to see Yoshi Miner make their way back to the mid lane. Don't want to keep the Ahri in a side lane by themselves too long. That's how you get deleted by Rengars, but now it seems like they're just
Speaking of getting deleted, by the way, Uber, he's in a bit of trouble. In a lot of trouble. Blade's Reach going to miss from Zero Arms. GLP Slow and Charm is going to land, though, from Yoshi Miner. Now the rest of Storm was trying to force while they got the opportunity, but there's a teleport coming through from Charismatic, and Handler's already so low. Stop. Recyclement popping the stopwatch, going to buy some time. Call the Forge God to re-engage the fight. Charismatic tanking up a lot of damage. Stevenator flashing over the wall. Unbreakable going to block some of the unleashed power, and it is enough. Recycle Bin alive with just a little bit of HP, and now Zero Armed is here to clean up the rest. Tony is tanky, but not tanky enough, as Zero Armed says, I've got my sights on a different target. I'm going after this kitty cat. Can't get away from this demonic whatever Rost is, I don't know, but the answer is no. He cannot get away. Flash over the wall. Blade's Reach gonna be dodged out, actually, but doesn't matter. You know what? You can't dodge the Umbral Trespass. A nice face breaker from Handholder, but Kabi might be dying. Zero Arms, I doubt he's dying. So tanky on this Kane, and you know what? Kabi, just for good measure, says, I'm going to live too. I'm immune to turret shots. You know what? I don't even care. I'm Braum. I got a big shield. I'm alive. And you know who else is alive? Coin flippers are alive, baby. That was a 4-for-1. I do not see a world where they lose this game, actually. I think we are going to a game 3.
Yeah, I have to agree. They're looking very, very strong at the moment, and you can really tell a champion's strong when they miss half their abilities and still, like, just absolutely dominate, like Zero Arm just did with Ross. That was pretty funny. That was a lot of missed W's, and then just got the kills anyway because the turret wasn't doing any damage. But I think it was hitting Cabby, so that makes sense there. But yeah, that was nuts, man. Kane is so strong right now. The build is huge. He's got a BF sword. What do you think the BF sword's going into?
Oh, Guardian Angel, almost for sure.
Guardian Angel, okay.
Yeah, what else would it be? I mean, he does have a Sapphire Crystal, so I could be wrong, but I don't think anything builds out of a BF sword of Sapphire Crystal. We do see the Guardian Angel come through, so
yeah.
Or yeah, the Ruby Crystal. Yeah, Guardian Angel did come through, so yeah, Guardian Angel.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense for sure. Jarn's Fist as well. Maybe for a Stairs Gauge.
Pierce Salt. You want to know why I'm excited?
because these are probably the two best teams in Style Esports right now. And I thought that Stormwolves were clear favorites to win. Now I am not so sure. Coin flippers are looking strong. Their draft is strong. They are taking the fight to Stormwolves, and they are winning. And now Zero Arm maybe getting a little bit too aggressive, going pretty deep, trying to buy his team the space to take this dragon, but he is very deep. He is just saying, I am a Kane. I have 5 items. Mess with me if you can, but you can't. You can't mess with me. I'm too strong. Now on the boss side of the map, Zero Arm getting slammed into the wall by the Searing Charge. Pretty tanky with the GA. Here comes the call of the Forge God. Yoshi Miner buying time on the side. Twisted advance over the wall. Here comes Charismatic. Big tanky Maokai with Aftershock proc. Meanwhile, in the 1v3, Zero Arm is still alive. Healing for so much. Look at the healing. Blades reaching to 3. 3-man knockup. A nice True Shot barrage just for good measure. Putting that cherry on top under the turret. Stevenator, you've got nowhere to go. You are dead. A triple kill for Zero Armed. That is the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Coin flippers have just wiped Stormwolves off of the map. Sure, Stormwolves' draft was a little bit troll, but still, we are going to a game 3, X-Man.
Yeah, we are, and Stormwolves lose their first game of the season here. I mean, they haven't lost one yet, and now here are the defending champions to take them down a peg. We are going to game 3, like you said, and yeah, coin flippers take the victory.
I'm hyping up coin flippers, and for good reason. I'm impressed with the way they closed out that game, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure if Stormwolves hadn't trolled draft, that would have been it. I think it would have been a 2-0. I don't like the Rengar set at all, and I also think that giving Zero Armed all those kills early was just a big mistake, right? I talked about it at the time, but who do you want to get fed the least on coin flippers if on coin flippers if you're the Stormwolves? It's got to be that Kane. It's got to be that Ross, because how do you deal with that with no clear DPS source to cut through all that healing? And the answer is just like, as you saw, like you can't deal with it. There's nothing. So, I think clearly Stormwolves have got to rethink their drafting a little bit. They got a bunch of strong picks, right? Syndra, Graves, Ornn, all perfectly strong picks. I think you throw in a normal meta 80 carry instead of this weird Rengar stuff, I think you're fine.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I'm almost not like as critical of Keep's Rengar pick as I am as with the like set kicker. I mean, obviously Rengar is like super troll, but I feel like if you're going to commit to a Rengar ADC, you might as well give it something that it can use. You mentioned Ivern earlier. I feel like that would have helped this bot lane out a lot. It would have been, a little bit better. I don't think the set pick, as much as the Rengar pick is troll, I don't think the set pick did very much for the team here. I mean, had a lot of assists, but just a lot of deaths too. And it was just kind of an ineffective champion at all stages of the game. Didn't really tank too much, didn't really have anything else to offer. And that's kind of what we look for in a set support, is like extra kill pressure, and then late game you get a set. I don't think this lane needed extra kill pressure. It needed like more setup for the Rengar.
Well, and what I would say is that Set is a pretty feast or famine champion, and like you said, I think in lane, I kind of disagree. I think in lane it was actually fine. There were some good engages from Stormwolves in lane bot side, but it didn't amount to anything later, right? What could Handholder do later on? He wasn't tanky, and who do you engage on? Who do you look for that face breaker on? Recycle Bin? He's not going to be close enough. Yoshi Miner got the Spirit Rush. Zero Armed, you are not going to kill him. Charismatic, you are not going to kill him. Kabi, you are not going to kill him. You want to blow your engage on Kabi or Zero Armed or Charismatic? Coin flippers are more than happy to let you do just that. So it's like, how, I feel like Set as a champion, I think you're right. In this team comp, he just sort of gets kited, especially on the budget of a support when he's not got the tools that he normally might have to chase someone down, like a Blade of the Ruined King or something else. So I think that'll be it for our breakdown here. We spent a lot of time talking about this game, and it was a pretty long game in its own right, and we are gonna be going to a game 3, so no need to make it any longer than it has to be. Thank you for sticking with me through that game, Axeman. I will see you in a few minutes. And to the audience, I hope you guys all stick around as well. It is looking like it's gonna be a pretty fantastic series. And again, these are probably the 2 best teams in Style Esports right now. You could certainly make a strong case for that for either of these teams, and especially the Stormwolves after their performances so far. But Coin Flippers as well, right? These are the defending champions of Season 2 of Style Esports. So few minutes, we will be right back to see who comes away with the victory.
I am Baymax. This has been Axeman. We're signing out, but only for a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Drum roll, please. Here we go. We're back. Game number 3, Coin Flippers versus Storm Wolves. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think we were gonna go to game 3. I don't know about you, X-Man. I don't think you thought we were going to the game 3 either, but we are. Coin Flippers did it. They brought home the win. Storm Wolves may have trolled draft just a little bit, but it doesn't matter because we have the 2 best teams. I think that's fair to say the 2 best teams in Style Esports about to battle it out to see who is truly deserving of that top spot and if Storm Wolves are going to hold on to their win streak as they stomp through the Shurima group. Axeman, this is the last time I'm going to ask you this tonight as part of our introduction. How are you doing?
Baymax, I'm hype. I mean, I gotta admit, for the majority of game 2 there, I was in shock. I wasn't really sure what I was watching. It was just kind of like the Storm Wolves just started, I don't know, like falling apart. They were like giving away random picks, and the Coin Flippers took advantage. They absolutely were ready. They took advantage of every single mistake. They got all the picks, picked them all up, and then just started winning team fights and really just started to outscale too. A lot of that game, I think most people would agree, was won in draft. I think the Rengar pick probably failed Storm Wolves a little bit there. But in fairness to Keep, I don't want to like put him on blast or anything. The Rengar had like 10 kills. So, like, it wasn't like it was a totally useless, just totally ran it down and, like, inted all game. It could definitely have been the situation where Keep, like, hard carried that game on Rengar. Just got picked too many times and ended up not being super effective. So, you know, I definitely still believe in the Storm Wolves. I think they definitely have a very, very good shot at winning this series. But you're right. This is way closer than I ever imagined it could have been. I thought maybe the Storm Wolves were unstoppable in this group. But now the Coin Flippers are showing that they are absolutely not. They could definitely be stopped. There are cracks in the armor now. There's blood in the water, and Coin Flippers, they're looking for a victory here in the series.
Looking for a victory, of course, both teams, as these picks end up coming through here. You know, the Zed, I'm not gonna lie, the Zed's got me raising my eyebrows a little bit. It is one of Yoshi Miner's sort of signature picks. I believe his 4th most played ranked champion this season, so it's something he's a little bit more familiar on. And I'm not sure about the draft order. It might be I think it's a pretty good pick into the Kiana. It's relatively safe, got a lot of 1v1 potential, very easy to juke that supreme display of talent. But, you know, that all being said, that is a scary team to play Zed or Kha'Zix into later on, right? Thresh, you got your Flays, you got the Death Sentence. Kiana, basically instant AoE stun against a wall. Gragas has got a ton of crowd control. You're not going to kill a Kled hardly ever. Really the only viable option to go in on is Keep on the Kai'Sa, and you know, that is hard. The killer instinct is there to keep him alive and keep him exactly where he wants to be, allow him to reposition in fights. So, I think I am a fan of the Storm Wolves team comp this time around. You know, last time I think Storm Wolves were trolling in draft. This time, I don't want to say that Coin Flippers were trolling in draft because I don't think that would be true. I don't think that would be fair, but I am definitely a fan of what Storm Wolves are bringing to the table here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right to maybe cast some doubt onto Yoshi Miner and Zero Arm both being on assassins, especially both AD assassins. And by the way, Coin Flippers very heavy in the AD damage part. Not a whole lot of magic damage coming out. I believe Ezreal does some, but not, you know, a whole lot when compared to the rest of your team, who is just all AD. So magic damage is going to be a difficult situation for Coin Flip. That is a weakness of their comp. But yeah, having 2 assassins, super weird, right? Most people would say it's tank meta right now. If not, it's like bruiser meta, but definitely not assassins. There aren't too many assassins, I would say, are like, you know, super good right now.
Like
I don't
Diana,
think...
maybe? Diana?
Yeah, like most of the assassins you would call good right now are like on the border of assassin and bruiser. So it's kind of like, you know, is that really a good assassin or just like a high damage bruiser? I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of assassins in this game. Almost out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting this at all. I mean, we saw the Rengar last game, but Kiana, Zed, and Kha'Zix, this is weird. This is real weird. But it's pretty strange to see 2 AD assassins on the same team. I think you can pretty much get away with 1 if you're like super good at it. I think if it was just Yoshi Miner or Zed, I'd probably be fine with that. But there being 2 is kind of, you know, raising some red flags for me that this comp maybe isn't going to be doing what they think it will.
We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. I am especially interested in the Kiana pick for Steve Nitter. I think that it's such big playmaking potential, and looking to the mid lane, Steve Nitter has been a pretty big playmaker for Stormwolves so far. Him and Keep have done a very good job of being the carries for this team and staying alive. It was the Azir in game number 1, and last game Keep on the Rengar definitely had a strong performance. Also, Keep on Draven in game number 1, super good, super strong. I think he ended that game like 15-2 or something stupid, something crazy. These guys mean business, and when you put them on champs that are strong, that can hyper carry and that can snowball like a Kiana or like a Kai'Sa, I am definitely hyped to see what Stormwolves can do. I think they, I'm super excited. We are going to go to a short break here before we dip into this game. We will be right back as soon as the spectator delay finishes counting down and we are loaded into the game. Don't go anywhere. We will return shortly. Welcome back to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you didn't miss us too much while we were gone. We tried to keep it short, tried to keep it brief. We are finally, at long last, loaded into the third and final game of this series between Stormwolves and Coin Flippers. Coin Flippers on blue side, Stormwolves on red side. Axeman, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Indeed, 5 points from both teams here, staring across the aisle at each other. Maybe baring their teeth, maybe gnashing a little bit as well. Definitely no friendly looks. These teams are pretty much at the end of the rope. This is it, folks. Game 3, whoever wins this one takes the whole series and remains undefeated. The other goes home with a loss. So it's a very, very important game. Neither team wants to give away too much early. And they're just going to play it safe for the moment. Most of these champions aren't even moving at this point. They're holding very still, almost like they're hiding from each other.
Almost, I think with not terrible reason, right? Both these teams have pretty strong level 1s. Like, Ezreal Braum is really good level 1, actually, but, like, Thresh Hook is scary. Kai'Sa, KP, and Rain with no minions in the way, that's terrifying. Kiana's got a pretty high DPS. Gragas AoE knockback, potentially. So, nobody is exactly itching to face check, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely don't want to roll the dice on a weird invade level 1 for the game, the series winning game here. But a lot of what we were talking about before this game in regards to the coin flippers team comp was that they had this double assassin. They got the Kazakhs, they also have the Zed too. So we are seeing the junglers in retrograde at the moment. They're starting on opposite sides here, so they probably aren't going to see each other. I would imagine that's a decision from Uber to make sure they're not coming into contact with Zero Armed early in this game. That's probably a wise decision there. But yeah, so you don't want to be fighting the Kazakhs alone, especially not when you're solo. Already Tony looking to get the engage on a charismatic, but charismatic takes a lot of damage, just not quite poked out of the lane yet. Still can heal up a little bit more, right?
I think this. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
All right, I just wanted to say, I think there's probably going to be a lot of fireworks around the mid lane because it's a double assassin matchup, but top lane, that is a pretty good matchup for the Kled as well. And Kled is a champion that likes to get aggressive early, especially when you got a tank jungler that can enable him like a Gragas. Kled loves to skirmish, getting down and dirty, landed the bear trap, looking for those early game kills. That is something that any Kled player likes to do, right? You're going to have that voice in your head that's screaming about drinking mushroom juice and going into fights and keeping people off your property. Speaking of people being in your property, that death sentence is Handholder's property. Cabby, you are going down first blood to keep Stormwolves' bot lane. Handholder might get traded back. Flash going to keep him alive. Top lane, though. Tony succumbed to a gank. Not quite. Remount. He's going back in. Bear trap onto Zero Armed. Zero drops so low. Forced to use a flash of his own. Now Tony barely remounts top lane. Recycle bin. Goes back in for the 1v2. Finds one. He finds two. Not quite. He actually hasn't found Handholder yet. I think he's going to get it. Oh, why did you fade back? You thought you were going to hit the Q and you missed. The Mystic Shot goes wide and the death sentence from Handholder ends up finding the kill. That was a lot of fireworks going back and forth. At the end of the day, Stormwolves, I think they undoubtedly come out on top. I think they come out on top.
I don't know if anyone's on top after that one, Baymax. That was a fiesta. My goodness, what's going on? But yeah, I guess technically they come out on top. I think both teams have some explaining to do to their respective coaches. That was a pretty rough level 1 there, level 2 power plays. But yeah, it is the Stormwolves slightly ahead, less than 1,000 gold lead at the moment, and top and bot lane do trade various kills across the map. I really did not think Recycle Bin was going to lose that. I thought he had Handholder, but nope, that sentence just
he thought he had Handholder too. You saw him walk backwards after throwing out that Mystic Shot. He thought that he had it, but I think if he kept walking, the sad thing is I think if he kept walking, he would have been in auto attack range when Handholder sidestepped down, and he could have just autoed him, but he was so convinced in his skill shot that he just sort of let Handholder get away. Unlucky, man.
Yep. Cool guys don't watch their skill shots land. And Recycle Bin was way too cool to stick around to see if he hit him or not. But yeah, this bot lane already getting pretty interesting. I mean, Cabby, obviously the biggest loser down there, loses out on a lot of that, having died fairly early in the fight. But yeah, I think we're still basically even as far as bot lane gold goes. The only real discrepancy is on Handholder has a lot more gold than Cabby, yeah.
Ooh, look at mid lane now. Steven Ader lands a nice, or Uber lands a nice body slam.
Oh.
I'll take it back. Steven Ader, though, picking up that
close.
kill, popping the Ignite, popping the Flash. Yoshi, by the way, losing both sums as well. Now here comes Zero, straight into the bush blind. He knows that Steve is there. He goes in with a leap, and he finds a kill. Now Uber forced to body slam himself over the wall as well. A 1-for-1. Assassins getting kills on both sides of the map here.
Yeah, I had my doubts about the double assassin comp, but I guess it worked for them on that one. So,
well, it was a 1-for-1. It was a 1-for-1.
Yeah, they do eventually get the kill trade back on Steven Ader, and now it is Uber Alice looking for some vision control over the Dragon Pit. Cloud Drake is going to be our first dragon of the night. Oh, Uber Alice might be looking for this this long con lane gank here, sneaking around behind into the bushes. We'll see if this plays out for him. He's just going to channel his back at the moment. You don't want to waste too much time, but Recycle Bin and Cabby are pushing out, so you might want to
Tony might be in trouble top lane here, X-Man. He's dismounted. Zero, I'm just hanging out. He is close to remounting, though. I think he's going to get the remount. I'm thinking the isolation damage from Zero might be enough. Looking bot lane, too, Uber looks like he shut himself. Both junglers look like they're prepping for the gank, but nothing ends up coming out of it. I think both Tony and Recycle Bin are safe on this one.
Yeah, Tony looks... Yeah, you're right. He's pretty close to the remount, I would have to imagine. So he's probably okay. Charismatic at a... Yep, here he goes.
Charismatic actually might be the one that's not okay. Oh, the bear trap missed. Here comes the charge. Not going to be quite enough, though. Nature's Grasp
getting Charismatic out of that one alive. Here's the kicker, though. Tony's dismounted again, and guess what? Zero's still topside, and guess what? There's a cooldown on that remount timer, Tony. You have no flash, you've got nowhere to go. You can try to recall, but you are not going to remount. Zero Armed is almost certainly going to pick up a kill here, unless he gets juked. Tony looking for the jukes, looking for the kill maybe. Got the violent, vicious tendencies, trying to get something back. Here's the thing. If he didn't have his passive on cooldown, he would have remounted there. He's alive.
Oh, no.
How is he alive? How is Tony alive? I don't understand what even happened there. I feel like Zero was just waited too long to get that isolation damage from that hop. And mid lane, a solo kill going over to Stevenator. That was so good for Stormwolves. Tony lived somehow, and Stevenator finding another kill mid lane.
You asked how he lived. Tony hadn't backed yet, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that was their first recall. And Zero Armed had only backed once, so they just had their Stalker's Blade. So neither of them really had a lot of items and was doing a lot of damage. So yeah, I think that might have been how he survived. Tony, just on base stats alone, had the level on him, so didn't go down. But now Tony immediately on site re-engaging on Charismatic. He's going to get him, Baymax.
Almost
Maybe?
certainly. Flash almost back up, but
Yeah,
the trap.
yeah,
the trap is
okay,
there.
yeah.
It's there.
There we go.
That's sort of how that matchup goes. Especially, I want to talk about Tony's build a little bit, because most Kleds are rushing Blade of the Rune King and maybe a Death Stance now. Bork is such a strong item after the buffs that came through. That's why almost every Bruiser ends up building it. You see it on like Set and Kled and even champions like Aatrox sometimes. He's not opting to rush Bork. He built Tiamat first item, which means he's going to be weaker. He's delaying his Bork. In 5-10 minutes, he'll be a little bit weaker for it. But right now, Tiamat is a much stronger item spec than, say, a Vamp Scepter or a Recurve Bow. So Tony, he felt empowered to go for that. He is in a very strong spot right now. He's going to pay for that a little bit later on with a delayed first item. But right now, he is in a very strong spot, as you can see with that solo kill. Looking towards the bot side of the map, that was a nice dragon snuck away there by Zero.
Yeah, definitely. Especially not something I think we would expect from a Kha'Zix normally. Does have the W, able to heal himself up a little bit, so is probably capable of a Dragon Steel, but would take so much time that it's pretty strange. So, yeah, definitely good to get snuck away from Uber Alice on that one. Ooh, mid lane, a little bit of trading, nothing going on too much, but I think you're right. Up in the top lane, Tony Lil with the Tiamat, essentially saying, like, I'm ahead in this lane. I really just need more wave clear so I can shove lanes into you harder and just kind of force my advantage. And really, that's all he needs to do at this point. He's pretty much won this lane. But enough about top lane. Bot lane, Cabby gets nailed by Death Sentence.
Well, Unbreakable is a thing, though. Kabi ending up flashing away, but he is alive. Ignite not going to take him down. Gank coming through from Uber, though. He's got the explosive cast.
Oh,
it dunks.
wow.
Recycle bin. Killer Instinct invested, but unneeded from Keith. That's a free kill going over to Uber in the jungle. But the re-engage coming through. Zero has arrived on the scene. Got the sleeper, clearing out some vision, but Uber is unafraid, clearing out some vision control. A 1-0. Stormwolves pick up another kill, 6-2 now.
Yeah, that was a heat-seeking explosive cast. I can't believe that. Oh, hand Elder goes down.
Two-shot barrage from downtown.
Wow, that could not have been more perfect. Just absolutely nailed them. Keith gets pretty low too, man. That's spooky. I don't know why he's staying.
Why is he staying? What is he? He's dead. He's gone. He's got flash. He's got heal, but it's not probably going to be enough. Zero picking up the kill. Get the isolation damage combined with a void spike. That's going to be it. That's a pretty big kill going over to Zero Armed.
Yeah, the last couple of times we've seen this happen, Zero Armed hasn't quite had the damage. I don't actually think he had the damage to kill Keep there. I'm pretty sure Cabby helped him with something. And that's how they were able to get the kill on that one. From now on, Zero Arm's definitely going to have the damage. I mean, they're going to get this back in, and they're going to... Charismatic. This could be bad.
Flashes over the wall. Flash is traded. Charismatic, you're dead. Violent tendencies are violent indeed. Tony picking up another kill as he just engages off cooldown on Charismatic. Now looking bot side, Stevenator has roamed down Recycle, been committing the same sin that he saw Keep commit just a few seconds before. A nice kill going over to this Kiana, and Kabi says, I'd rather give it to the Kaisa, so I'm going to go ahead and die to Keep instead of Stevenator. Still, though, that's 2 kills traded back again here, picked up by Stormwolves.
Yep, Stormwolves looking very strong at the moment. Uber Alice is just having such a good game here. I mean, he picked up the Rift Herald there. He's had incredible ganks. He's got kills on Charismatic, also down the bot lane under Recycled In 2. Having a very, very good Gragas game, so shouts out to them for sure. They're also just kind of dominating Zero Armed, who has also had some good ganks, but isn't managing to keep up in CS quite yet. Keeping Handholder down the bot lane or taking plates off of that bot lane outer turret. They're just starting to stack up their advantage as well. This is probably the closest lane, I would imagine, is this bot lane. And it's... Oh, okay. It's still not that close, is my point. Let's see a fight here.
Your point was well served. That was the opposite of a caster curse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, actually the bot lane's actually just disengaged there. So the curse gets me in the end anyway. But Steven Ader looking for the roam. Might just be looking for Zero Armed, actually. Zero Armed is over at the Gromp, so they're relatively close to each other. We'll see if they... no, just two ships kind of passing each other in the night on that one. Steven Ader doesn't get
bot
any...
side, Death Sentence, Recycle, but actually arcing something forward, but dodged out by Keep. Still sitting on the Killer Instinct, by the way. Kabi's got nowhere to run. He's got no flash. The Stand United not going to get him out of the range of Keep on this Kai'Sa. Now looking mid lane, Steve Nader might be looking for a dive. Uber coming in with the Predator and the explosive cask popping down. It's not there. Zero picking up one kill on the counter gank. Another two shutdowns onto Zero as he comes out of nowhere on this Kha'Zix, and somehow, someway, Yoshi ended up living, but it's not even over yet, X-Man. Tony, oh, you know what? It is over. I thought he had his charge. He doesn't. It's over.
He doesn't have the charge quite up yet. I think it's almost off cooldown, so maybe he'll still go for that. No, actually, Yoshimina's backed already, so that wouldn't make any sense. But I could not believe my eyes. I thought Yoshimina was just so dead on that one. And then, you know, just popped the ult. I didn't even see it, and all of a sudden Zero Armed was there. So I think I might owe them an apology. Yoshimina and Zero Armed are probably having the best game of anyone on their team. And it was them who I thought were the biggest weakness.
I'm not going to lie. I would adjust that by saying Zero Armed.
Yeah.
Yoshimina, I love you. I like the Zed pick, but it's not been working out that well. You've been out pressured, you've been out roamed, and you're down 30 CS. But you know what? I definitely agree with the Zero Armed point. He has been popping off on this Kha'Zix pick. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like 4-0. He's even on CS now with Uber. I believe he was behind earlier, but he's back even now. Uber Alice is going to start up this dragon here, this second dragon of the game.
And Tony starting up his charge top lane. I'm starting to think we're close to that point where it's not worth investing that for a 1 versus 1 kill. I don't know if we're there yet though. Charismatic probably going to go down. And you know what? Stormwolves, they managed to pick up the dragon anyway. It doesn't even matter. Tony, looks like the bear trap didn't quite connect. Charismatic might end up getting away here. Got the Destiny Edge coming through. Meanwhile, on the boss side of the map, it's at 3 versus 2. Zero, I'm doing so much damage. Shutdown, the SS coming through. And it's Kabi next in line. A double kill over to Handholder. Now, Tony has teleported to his death. 1 versus 3. You do not want to be there. Steve Nader and Uber have left you. They are mid lane. Shutdown going over to Yoshi with a death mark on this Zed. He got angry that I said he wasn't doing anything on the pick. Now, Herald dropped mid lane means turret did get traded back, but still, Stormwolves, they lost that fight pretty hard.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the Zed is positive on the KDA right now. I am not great at math, though, so I might be wrong about that. Even that, that said, I still feel like Yoshi is probably having a better game than the majority of his team. Obviously, the star is Zero Armed. I mean, he's having an incredible Kha'Zix game right now. He does have shutdown gold on his head at the moment, so they'll have to be careful to not let the Kha'Zix get picked. But he hasn't died yet, so I don't think you should be too worried about that. Yeah, another item spike is hit by the Kha'Zix. Dustblade is built now. They'll be hitting more item spikes as they move forward here. Also, Yomu's picked up by Yoshi Miner too, so a couple of pretty big item spikes on the assassins. We'll see if the Stormwolves start to stack armor, because that's going to be what really kind of puts the hurt onto this assassin comp.
Ooh. Stand United. Handholder might find himself in trouble here. Because of blow stun, gonna force the flash. Now Keep finds himself in Kabi's sights. A flash forward. The Lantern is there, just barely out alive. True Shot Barrage not gonna quite hit Keep. It does land on Handholder, but the damage isn't there. So some resources burned bot lane from Coin Flippers don't end up getting much of anything. I want to quickly talk about the Kha'Zix pick because you were talking about it before. I'm a little concerned for Coin Flippers because It's a 6-0 Kha'Zix, yes, but it's 6-0 Kha'Zix into a Kiana, a Gragas, a Kled, and a Thresh. Those are a lot of champions that Zero might struggle to deal with the Flay and the Supreme Display of Talents and the Body Slam. There's so many tools that Stormwolves have to lock down Zero Arm. So I think if Coin Flippers win this game, it's going to have to come down to them outplaying Stormwolves in these fights.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the kills we've seen from Zero Armed are basically him just kind of coming in after on a counter gank or something like that, or after a fight, and just like last hitting somebody because they were so low, and either decided to stay in lane or just didn't have time to reset. Oh goodness, Yoshi Miner.
Stevenator looking for a solo kill. Here comes Zero. Not a solo kill for much longer.
My.
Godlike shutdown isolation damage. Uber has arrived. Nice explosive cast. Puts Zero on under turret.
Oh, no.
That was actually a very clean play. It means a shutdown onto Zero Armed. 1 for 1. I think you'd take those because that was a lot of shutdown gold.
Yep, Tony goes down a solo kill to Charismatic up in the top lane. And you mentioned Tony probably can't use charge in the 1v1 anymore. We saw earlier he used every single ability he had. He had the ultimate and everything, and chased Charismatic from behind Tony's own turret all the way back to Charismatic's turret and never managed to kill him. So I think you're right. I feel like you just don't use anything on this Maokai anymore. You literally cannot kill him, like with all of your damage, all your abilities.
Also,
so yeah, just stop wasting stuff on him.
Also, a little questionable. I think Tony has not read himself up on what all the Kleds are building. All the cool kills are building Bork. It's really good. It's broken. It's broken against squishies. It's broken against tanks. It is a broken item. It's especially good versus Maokai, who's got a lot of sustain. You want that lifesteal. You want that percent max health damage on your auto attacks. It is, or percent current health damage. It is such a good item. I'm not a fan of the Black Cleaver here. I'm not a fan at all. I think that's the biggest reason why he's losing the 1v1s, which, maybe you'd think that sounds weird because Black Cleaver is good versus tanks normally, but Bork is just so good. Bork is just so good right now. Although, Stormwolves, they're starting up this Herald now. Looks like they have the pressure. They have the control. They're probably going to get it for free.
Yeah, I think there are an extreme minority of top lane melee champions that shouldn't be building Bork right now. But Tony in onto Charismatic is going to be trying to kill him again. I don't
know if he wants to go in death sentence. That actually found Yoshi Miner, not just right Zero Armed. Now here comes the charge, but Tony, you're so low. Death Mark onto Keep, dropping so very low. Recyclement air constantly over the wall to pick up that kill. Stevenator low, handholders next in Zero's sights. Triple kill for Zero Armed, or double kill, excuse me. Almost a triple. Now Tony, close to remounting. Not going to quite be able to find it, though. Just cannot get close enough to Recycle Bin to do anything. A big fight for Coin Flippers and Stormwolves, just playing too greedy, disrespecting Zero Armed.
Yep, we're almost to a point where Coin Flippers are back even on gold. It's still 1,000 gold away from that point, but the dragon is coming up now. This will be the Coin Flippers' second dragon, as we do have the Ocean Soul, as I'm sure you've seen for a while. Now, the implications of this are pretty massive, to be honest. I mean, I don't think Ocean Soul is going to be hugely important for the assassins on this team, but it is going to make Charismatic, like, practically unkillable.
For sure. Ocean Soul makes any sort of a champion that wants to be in combat for a long time unkillable. That being said, I feel like Ocean Soul would probably be better on Stormwolves than it is on Coin Flippers, simply because Coin Flippers, so much of their damage is reliant on these assassins who are trying to get in and get out quick, who don't necessarily want to look for these extended fights. Although, I say that. I could also say that Recycle Bin and Charismatic do want to look for extended fights, and they will thrive under an Ocean Soul. So definitely could argue that point if you wanted to. I regardless of who you are, an Ocean Soul is a very strong Dragon Soul to get. But I got to be able to be critical of Stormwolves here. Oh, that was a nice death sentence. I'm not critical of that.
Good.
A Flay onto Zero Armed as well. He's caught up. A nice Unbreakable from Kabi is buying him a lot of time keeping him alive, but is big Kabi, the sacrificial lamb. He will go down in Zero Armed's place. A nice pick from Stormwolves. Just as I was about to get a little bit critical, they say, nah, man, look at this hook. You can't be critical of this. This is too good.
Yeah, that was a very good death sentence. Lantern combo there directly onto Zero Arm too. So essentially exactly what Handholder needed to be doing for their team. Ooh, True Shot Barrage doing a lot of damage to keep in Handholder there. They also dropped the Rift Herald mid lane, but Handholder's going so low at the moment. Wow.
Stopwatch, though, going to keep him alive for the time being. Zero Armed onto the back line. Does a ton of damage, but not quite enough to kill Keep. Does manage to find Handholder, who stuck around questionably a little bit too long. I think he was trying to keep Armed alive.
but ended up going down. Harold did pick up turret now, flank coming through from Tony, but he's
Okay.
actually pretty weak on this Kled now. He's just not got the damage or the tankiness to deal with the backline of coin flippers. And I think that's a big part of that is the Black Cleaver. It's just not that useful versus coin flippers right now.
Exactly. I mean, the tank stats that it would normally provide to a bruiser, just like, you know, a little bit of extra health just to keep them a little healthier, don't work so well in the face of, you know, these assassins. I mean, they're just doing too much burst damage for it to matter. And as soon as they unseat you, they dismount you, excuse me, Kled loses a lot of power, right? All of a sudden, he can't move very far. He just doesn't have as much damage. He's kind of looking to remount. Meanwhile, those assassins are already gone. So, like, Kled can't hit them anymore. Ezreal is arcane shifted away, and suddenly he just has no way to dismount in the fight at all. So, yeah, looking very, very weak at the moment. I think you can't play Kled the same way you would normally be playing Kled at this point. I think maybe you have to pivot to something even like a Knight's Vow or something like that.
You know, that is an idea. You could go for a more supportive tanky Kled build. Otherwise, you know, he's still relatively strong as far as items go. Late game, he will still outscale Charismatic in the side lane. You can still build a Bork. You can still build maybe a Death Stance and get to that point where you can just 1v1 him. But right now, it's not that point. But you know what? Right now, Tony's not looking for a 1v1. He's looking for a 2v1. Uber looking for the gank bot side. Tony gonna land the bear trap. Use that charge to look for more, but you see pings in the top side of the map. Coin flippers are moving to potentially start up this Baron. They know that Uber and Tony are both bot side. Charismatic eventually is going to fall, but he's buying so much time on Baron. Has already been started up. He is going to go down, but the jungler for Stormwolves is on the bot side of the map now. Keep looking for a 1v1. He finds to shut down 1v1 versus Zero Arm. That's a huge kill. Teleport now from Tony. He's got no charge. He's got no flash, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Stormwolves, they found 2 kills, and they forced coin flippers off of that Baron. And a big shutdown onto Keep.
Yeah, just the Baron up for them to be able to take off this team fight win, and I don't think they have the pressure to be able to take it. So just for right now, just a couple of good picks for them there. It's so bizarre to me, Baymax, that like I don't think the coin flippers have been in the lead gold-wise yet. I might be wrong about that. Flame me in chat if I am, but it really has been the Stormwolves staying consistently like 2 to 3. I believe now it's like, yeah, like 3 or 4 thousand gold ahead, which is, you know, kind of nuts. And these fights have been way closer than that one would lead you to believe. I think that's because a lot of the gold lead is on the supports at the moment. And even though Handholder's getting oh, here we go.
Yeah, I might have to hold that thought. It looks like an engaged attempt from Stormwolves, but they're just trying to get pressure for this dragon. So I think you're good. I think you're good.
Yeah, definitely. I think what we're really seeing is that Handholder has not a majority, but a good chunk of that gold lead. And while they are making a lot of good plays for their team, the gold value isn't really as reflected as much on the Thresh because the death sentence is going to work the same way no matter what, just because it does like 2 more damage or whatever isn't super effective or anything like that. So, you know, I think that might be why these fights are a little bit close.
Oh, the bush strat is here. That's Yoshi dead right off the bat. Spirit spin the town, knocking into the wall. Handholder finding them on the copy as well. Recycle bin in the backline, gonna get murdered by Tony. He can 1v1 the backline of coin flippers. Now, I don't even know when Zero died, but die he did. 4 for nothing, just that quick. Stormwolves off the bush cheese. They find the kills. They find the fight. They're gonna find the Baron and probably the dragon as well. That was huge.
Yeah, essentially the Stormwolves just kind of, I guess, out-visioning the coin flippers there. We see a little bit higher vision score on Handholder than we do on Cabby, and yeah, they're able to get the death push out, and I'm pretty sure Zero Armed got deleted almost instantly. I don't think he made it very far, and then Recycle Bin and Yoshi might have made it.
Everyone got deleted almost instantly.
Yeah, that was real bad for the coin flippers. Charismatic was nowhere to be found. He was very far away from the fight as well. Oh, actually, he just flashes there. I don't know why. Maybe he thought there were more members. The Stormwolves close by, but yeah, the Stormwolves pick up a dragon. Now it's 2 dragons apiece.
Yeah, 2 dragons each, so nobody is close to a dragon soul, but Baron firmly planted in the hands of Stormwolves for 3 or so more minutes. They should I would guess, be able to get a lot of pressure, a lot of pushing down with this Baron buff in their hands. But Coin Flippers, they're piecing aggressively. Stevenator's the one getting caught out now, face checking right into the bush. Doesn't even have a Supreme Display of Talent available. Descendant's on the 0. It looks like Stormwolves might trade one back. Unbreakable is there. Kabi is not leaving his jungler's side. Charismatic now on the front line, so tanky with the Aftershock, but the Aftershock's timed out, and Keep is doing a lot of damage. A nice explosive cast to disengage, but Yoshi is not disengaged. Deathmark over the wall to Keep. Glacial Fissure dropping him so low, but he's still alive. Handholder finally gonna go down as Yoshi finds Keep as well. Zero Arm still alive. Tony on the backside trying to make something come through. Does pick up a kill onto Yoshi, I believe, but that was a 4-for-1 just as quickly as Stormwolves 5-for-1. Just as quickly as Stormwolves find a lead for themselves, they lose it, making the exact same mistake that they used to capitalize on Coin Flippers.
Yeah, the pendulum swings back in favor of the Coin Flippers here. Dragon, not for another 4 minutes. Same story for the Baron. So the Coin Flippers not able to get an objective out of this win, but they're going to get a couple turrets here unless Stevenator has anything to say about it. And they're going to get at least one turret there from the mid lane. They might get two. I think they might want to start backing off, though, and just kind of cutting their losses. And really, that has been the story of this series, is just Coin Flippers cutting their losses right up until they're destroying Stormwolves Nexus. And it's still working for them, man. Every time I think that it's finally swung back to the Stormwolves for good, the Coin Flippers just make some kind of crazy outplay and just get it back in their favor. So they're just kind of lockstep back and forth at this point. I'm not really sure. I guess the move is just another death push and really just try to play the vision game out. You see Stevenator clearing some vision there, excuse me, and it pretty much is just, here we go. Stevenator might be
Zero Armed. I don't think you win this Supreme Display of Talent right into the wall. Uber picking up the kill. Zero Armed. You just don't quite have the damage to one-shot a Kiana before she slams you into the nearest wall. That's a pretty big pick for Stormwolves, but they lost all their Baron buffs, Axeman. I don't think they can get anything with it.
Yeah, maybe not. They don't pick up anything. Again, just kind of illustrating how both these teams are just in lockstep at the moment. Down the bot lane, it's Tony up against Yoshi Miner.
Charismatic melting so very quick. Keep's got so much damage. 4 items on this Kai'Sa as a death sentence onto Kabi, or Cabby. I've been saying Kabi. I'm going to stick with Kabi. Kabi going down. Double kill. He's the second to die into the Keep meat grinder, as I was totally just caster curse to oblivion. Stormwolves, they say, you don't think we can get anything off this? Of course we can. We're going to get the game off of this. And now Tony roaming down with his charge. It's a 5 versus 3. It's in Stormwolves' hands. Uber with the engage. A nice body slam, but a 2. He's got the stopwatch to buy time as well. And the turret 0. I'm trying to find something back, but there's no isolation there to be found. It's a 5 versus 1. You're by yourself. And Tony just runs him down. Ignite from Stevenator finally finishing the job. That's all members of Coin Flippers dead. Axeman. Stormwolves, they've won. This is it. It's only Charismatic and Kabi. This is certainly going to be the end of the game. The first Nexus turret is dying under siege, melting pretty quickly. Second one now under turret. Kabi trying to use the Glacial Fissure to stall for a time, but the turret is dead. The Nexus is open, and Stormwolves, they're taking the fight. They say, you want to give us some free kills? We will gladly take them. Thank you for opening the soup kitchen. Nexus under siege. Nexus falling. Stormwolves, they continue their heroic, I don't know, they continue their dominating run through the oh my god,
the Shurima group.
Shurima, yes, the Shurima group. Thank you. Wow. Stormwolves are clearly the team to beat right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They're still undefeated. They did drop a game, so not completely undefeated as far as game goes, but series-wise, still very much undefeated. Undoubtedly at the top of this group at the moment. I'm not sure who could take them down. I'm pretty sure with this game, they've played everybody in the group. I might be wrong about that one, though. If not, it's probably pretty close. So, yeah, I feel like if anybody can do it, it's going to be Coin Flippers. But Baymax, that was super convincing from the Stormwolves. I mean, even though the Coin Flippers were showing signs of life and occasionally getting a team fight win, there was no part of this game where I thought that the Stormwolves weren't going to win. It was always kind of a come from behind, maybe a small chance that the Coin Flippers could take it. I don't think they ever had a gold lead, the Coin Flippers.
I think I hear you. I will say, I think you're right. I think the gold lead never actually swung in Coin Flippers' favor, other than maybe very early on, in the first few minutes. I do want to say, I think that game was way closer than it should have been. Honestly, um, Storm Wolves, they disrespected Zero Armed a lot. And I think that they let Coin Flippers win a bunch of fights they probably shouldn't have. Both these teams played well, and both these teams have proved that they are strong teams. But I think they've also both proved that they have weaknesses, that they can screw up, that they, even their best players, even their strongest players, when given leads, can throw them away. And that they can fail to play on their winning position properly. So, you know, these teams are good, but they're not unbeatable. And I think that most of the teams in the streamer group are good. And I am definitely excited to see how Storm Wolves continue to play from this point on, and if slash when any other team is able to step to them. Because I think I'm not sure if you're right about there being other teams that have played them or not
I
yet.
was
I don't.
not.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think TDM or Supernova
Yeah,
have yet to play them. Somebody else as well.
the Dark
There's two
Matter
more
squad.
games. Yeah, two more
Yeah.
games here. So we'll see. It should be fun. But for now, Storm Wolves still undeniably the top of Shreema.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think they definitely proved that here tonight. So many things about this game, man. Zero armed, for instance, I owe zero armed an apology. This double assassin comp worked pretty well, I would say. I think if there was a breakdown, I think it was more in just like Um, the damage spread. I feel like if they had more magic, that they definitely would have had a better time. But it's difficult even to point that out because it's not like Stormwolves won this by stacking armor, right? Obviously, Thresh was a little bit harder to kill because they had a lot of armor items. No one wasted any money on MR, which I think might have helped them out a little bit if they had to have done that. But it's not like there's somebody on the Stormwolves here that just has like 4 armor items and was
You
just
know,
completely unkillable.
I'm actually surprised we didn't see more tabbies come out. I would have thought that we would have
Yeah,
seen tabbies on maybe Uber and Steve and Keep, and like it didn't happen. Especially Keep. I'm surprised Keep didn't build more armor. I guess the Zanies was enough. Uh, yeah,
yeah,
I'm
definitely. I mean, there were members of the Stormwolves that have no armor.
yeah
I think
I
that's pretty nuts to me. Stevenator, I think, sticks out as the only one who didn't have armor, and then Uber just had the Zanyas, so that's pretty wild. But yeah, it was a super big weakness for their comp, and I think it really got them on this one. Uh, I'm not really sure where they would get magic damage from, but I think
I'm
that's
not gonna
probably
lie.
what they needed.
The Zed's not doing it for me. Pick Syndra, pick Cass, pick Oriana. She's really strong right now. Um, even like Fizz got banned, but what does Yoshi play? Was Vigar banned? Yoshi plays Vigar, he plays Silas, he plays Cassiopeia, he plays Fizz. Something out of that was open, and um, so Yoshi's okay. We talked to Y'all Carl in the break, who's our host, and he told us a little bit about the pick order and how the bans and picks went down. I think the Zed was not a good pick because it was blind picked mid lane, but it was not blind picked into everything else. It was last picked for the coin flippers, but Stormwolves had picked all of their other picks. So they saw the Thresh, they saw the Kion, or they saw the Thresh, the Kaisa, the Gragas, and I think the Kled as well. Um, that was, picking double assassin into Thresh Gragas is, in my opinion, generally a very bad idea, right? It's like, who do you go on if you're the assassin? And also, Zed is just not that great of a champion right now. Blind picking Zed mid lane seems questionable as well. Steven Nader was clearly confident in the matchup. He picked Kiana into it and did quite well, so that might have backfired as well. I am going to wrap up, so unless you have any other thoughts, I'm going to wrap up what I'm saying and just send it to a break.
Yeah, no, that was it for me. I guess we'll sign off the broadcast here.
Okay, so I do want to give a little bit of a consolation prize to Kabi. We talked about Zero armed a lot, and Zero had a pretty great game. Pretty great game, I'm not gonna lie. I want to give credit to him, but Kabi, I feel like, had a ton of very important unbreakables this game that if coin flippers would have ended up pulling out the win, I think that it would have been well deserved for Kabi. I think he had a pretty strong performance on the pick overall. Love to handholder as well. We don't get the supports a lot of love all the time, but he was popping off. Had a lot of crazy death sentences. Had a lot of crazy flays. A lot of good stuff going on from both teams here. All the credit in the world to the supports and everyone, honestly. I don't think any player here had a terrible game. Yoshi had not a great game, but even he was making some kills come through, finding some backline kills, making some stuff happen. So Credit where credit is due on that one. All right, that's enough rambling. I've been talking enough. We had a pretty long night. Those games lasted a while. It went to a game 3. It was hype. I was here for it, but now I'm here for my bed. I know you are too, X-Man. I'm sure most of the viewers probably are as well. So I want to thank everyone once again for coming out, spending so much time with us, spending a few hours of your night, or even a few minutes if that's all you stop by for. We appreciate you anyway. Thank you again for the subscription. That was amazing. Any new follows, I'm not sure if we get notifications for those, but regardless, any new follows, we really appreciate that as well. The chatting, we love the chatting. We love activity, lurkers, all that stuff. Thank you so much for paying attention to the stream, for watching, for caring about what we do. We got social media links in the description. We got Discord and our website and our YouTube. So check all that stuff out if you would like. That all being said, I think we're about done. I am Baymax. I was your play-by-play caster for tonight. I was joined by the lovely and beautiful Axeman87. We are signing off. Thank you all so much. Have a fantastic night, and congratulations to the Storm Wolves.